to slow down on Gray's Lane, which has created quite the controversy among neighbors. Now, one neighbor went on to say, quote, I think it's an eyesore. I also think it's ridiculous. I think it's awkward. It's weird. I'm not used to it. Look at this. That is definitely
It does. I mean, like, you think people are really going to slow down to stay inside those lines?
I'm going to be touching the other side.
You're just going to gun it straight if you want to go fast.
Now, the traffic calming measure features yellow and white curved lines that run along 2 blocks of the road. They were painted on Friday. A Facebook post from the police department says the new design was in response to neighbors' complaints about speeding drivers. The department said signage along with the safety devices called delineators will be added. Most drivers stayed within the lines, but not everybody. According to another witness, quote, I mean, right now everyone is just driving through the middle of it, which is what we expected. I'll tell you what I don't like, which has come on a lot, is the roundabout. Oh, I hate the roundabout.
I love the roundabout.
I don't like the roundabout.
I don't like it at all. And they're building one right down here near us, and it's been a long construction process.
They're confusing.
Oh. Yeah, I not enough people know how to drive the roundabout, and there's one I stumbled across I didn't even know had been built. It's over. I think Old Leeds Road and Grants Mill right there. Do you know where I'm talking about? Near Nick Saban's Mercedes dealership.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, if you keep going towards, have you ridden through this one?
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
You're gonna cut over.
Yeah, to Irondale.
And it's a 2-lane roundabout.
Yeah.
So if you get in the center lane, you're going to have to merge back over, but people don't know it. I mean, it is.
No, a lot of them in Hawaii.
Yeah.
No, I love them. They put one in Auburn that I use a lot on the way into Neville Arena, and it took out a traffic light that makes it flow a lot better. And then a very funny moment, going back to the hotel, one time I had Ubered down and I was riding back with Taylor at the SEC tournament, and our hotel was right past the roundabout. And it was late at night. Little T was driving. First time I'd ever ridden with her, to be honest with you. I'd ever been in a car with Little T.
You let the narcoleptic drive at night?
It was her car, so I offered to drive, but she was driving. And it was, you do the roundabout, and it was the first right off to our hotel. And she took the right and went right past that in the roundabout. And she's like, before you even say anything, I know. And she just circled her all the way back around.
That's the good news with the roundabouts. You get to correct your mistake.
That's right. You get a couple opportunities.
That's right.
Exactly right.
But 2-lane is so confusing.
Yeah, once you get over on that inside lane, you may have to fight back over to the right.
Shopping carts. I didn't know how many people had stolen shopping carts, but, I see them up and down Highway 280 all of the time.
I think it's an indicator of
homelessness.
Of your neighborhood, maybe.
Now, more than $1,700 worth of carts were stolen from a North Fort Myers grocery store in the early morning. According to Southwest Florida Crime Stoppers, suspect took 5 gray U-boat utility carts, each worth $300. One green double-decker cart valued at $200 from behind the Winn-Dixie liquor store around 6:14 a.m. on March 26. Cars were removed without permission from an outdoor area behind the liquor store section of the business. Suspect was caught on surveillance video placing the shopping carts in his truck and driving away. Any information, encouraged to contact Lee County Sheriff's Office.
I like, if you're homeless and you steal a shopping cart, I kind of get it. You need a place to keep your stuff. Otherwise, I don't know why anybody would ever.
I don't know what you would do with it. Yeah. Now, I will say, driving over the Cahaba River, the hill that comes down from the Target, I have seen multiple of those red carts just laying on hillside.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with that.
That sounds like kids having fun.
Yeah, I would tell you that at the Prudential Center, the Rock, up in Newark, the tech guy had a shopping cart where he kept all his little tools.
Oh, okay.
And he would roll that around.
I can see that, yeah.
So, and it had a New Jersey Devil logo. He'd mounted on the front of it.
Yeah.
Florida woman, 40 years old, has been charged with felony battery for allegedly attacking a male acquaintance with a deadly weapon, a large conch shell with barnacles.
That's got an N in there for those that missed it. The conch shell.
Yeah.
You think the conch shell would...
You guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out. Flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat. And please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923. Jim Dunaway. Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, here we go now, live on a Wednesday of Final Four week. It's getaway day for Auburn. Reverse Tiger Walk goes at 11:30 this morning. They'll, wheels up, wheels out at 12 noon, and they'll head out to San Antonio where they'll practice tomorrow. And then they'll have the open practice for all you fans who are heading out to San Antonio. You can go watch them practice in the Alamo Dome on Friday, and then we'll get the games on Saturday, and hopefully another game coming up on Monday. We'll talk about that coming up. And all the college football and NFL news, including the new rule changes that LT brought to us yesterday. We'll go through those and tell you which ones we like, which ones we dislike, and we'll talk about the Braves as well coming up. But let's start with the big coaching change in the SEC yesterday. Buzz Williams leaves Maryland to go to Texas A&M, and I'm about to tee off when that news breaks.
Other way.
Excuse me. He leaves Texas A&M to go to Maryland. With Buzz Williams, you never know.
The other one's actually more believable.
Yeah. And that was it, Brown.
Yeah,
I was asking, when that news broke, I was getting my clubs out, and initially my guys were like, so what do you think about Buzz going to Maryland? I was like, why would you leave the money at Texas A&M to go to Maryland? And I know the Maryland folks are saying that Kevin Willard was lying, that they have money to put in the NIL, but we know Texas A&M has money.
Yeah, and I don't think – I think we all agree, whether it's true or not, that Kevin Willard, why would he make this up? Like, why would he just not have a amicable split from Maryland? I mean, why would he just bring up something negative if he's going to leave the program to go to Villanova? That makes no sense. He doesn't need a reason. If he just wants to go, he can go.
Yeah. So there
he doesn't need to fabricate that.
There had to be something that Kevin Willard didn't like there.
Yeah, I believe Kevin Willard. I don't know about you guys.
That maybe they had money, but it was hard to get it going in his direction or whatever. But we know Texas A&M has money.
Yeah.
And what Texas A&M does next is more interesting. But for Buzz Williams, I just want to tell you, when he left Marquette to go to Virginia Tech, I didn't understand that one.
No. I didn't either. That was the worst job.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that. And we brought up the fact, why would you leave Marquette, a place that's won a national championship, to go to a place, Seth Greenberg on the show yesterday, that traditionally, their best spot has been on the bubble.
Now, the only thing I can think of, and you'd have to take me back in a time machine to remember what was going on there, that was the time where there was a lot of the front end of a lot of conference upheaval. And maybe the thought was, I don't know what Marquette's conference future is going to be. And I know Virginia Tech's in the ACC. That's a power conference, right? I'm always going to have money in the ACC. So perhaps that was part of the thinking there, looking back on it. Honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah, but it
is a worse job. There's no doubt Virginia Tech's a worse job than Marquette.
I mean, he had Marquette 3 times in the NCAA tournament. I think he did that at Virginia Tech. Then he goes Virginia Tech to Texas A&M, which I never thought was a good basketball job.
But that's an upgrade.
But we know how money is now. But one thing I notice here is, 6 years at Marquette.
Yep.
5 years at Virginia Tech.
Yep.
6 years at Texas A&M.
Guy likes to move.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to be his realtor.
I would just rent while I was in College Park, Maryland, because he's probably going to be there about 5 or 6 years.
Well, and he's, to me, gotten progressively worse.
As far as jobs go?
I'm just as far as what he's achieved on the court.
Didn't he have an Elite Eight at A&M?
I think he did.
Yeah.
He did not.
You sure?
Yeah.
Was it at Marquette?
It was Marquette.
He's got one Elite Eight.
Yeah,
okay.
It's been more than a decade ago. It was, his tournament runs were at Marquette. There were no tournament runs. He had the one that parlayed Virginia Tech to Texas A&M, because I think that was Sweet 16.
And we talked about it on this show. He's one of those guys, or maybe it was Taylor and I on the basketball show, but I think it was on this show. He's one of those guys who when he's doing a news conference, like, he never just does a news conference. Like, he wants to tell you, he wants to try to turn it into some kind of life lesson news conference. Like, he never just sits there and talks about a game that we got beat, or leading into a game, the challenge of playing Auburn or Alabama. It's always like the challenge of life and overcoming the steepest mountain in life out of the deepest valley.
Athletics is just an analogy.
Yeah, and I'm like, this guy.
I know.
I tend to lean. I like Buzz.
I do too.
But I don't like the jumping around like this. And it doesn't make a lot of sense because in all his years, he's won one conference championship. That goes back to the Marquette days. I mean, he really hasn't accomplished anything at Virginia Tech or Texas A&M.
Yeah. But here we go. Now Texas A&M gets a clean slate. And Jeff Goodman yesterday of the Field of 68, the first to report their number one target is?
Nate Oates.
No, Lance's guy.
Chris Beard.
Chris Beard.
Why would it not be, right?
Why would it not be? But isn't
and especially if you're Texas and what Texas just did to Texas A&M with the baseball, right?
Yeah. But isn't he a Texas grad? Isn't that his school?
Yeah, but I doubt there's any good feelings anymore about his old alma mater.
He just has a diploma and that's it?
I'm telling you, if I'm Chris Beard, I take that job. I know I talked about the loyalty to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I think I take this job because I go back and I show that I was going to rule Texas. And I think I was unfairly, look, he was in a bad spot. No doubt about it. Bad optics. But I was unfairly not giving the allotted time for this thing to play out. They fired me immediately. I'm going to go back. I'm going to not only dominate the SEC in state, I'm going to dominate the state of Texas.
This is by far the more like this whole Maryland thing. Maryland is at one point one of the greatest jobs in America. I don't know if it is anymore, but there was a point where Maryland. Oh, you can grimace. It was a really good job.
Well, I grew up with
Lefty Drizel.
Gary Williams and Lefty Drizel won a ton of games there. You recruit the D.C. area, which is talent rich, and the Northern Virginia area, which is talent rich. There was a time it was a really, really good job.
Well, Brown, I lived through it. They didn't win a national championship until Gary Williams did in 2002, right? So how good?
Do you
of a
know
job
how many
can it be?
schools haven't won a national championship?
Oh, I do, but I mean, it can't be a great job.
It was. It was one of the great jobs in America.
It was a top 10 job.
Yeah. Which makes it one of the great jobs in
I
America.
think it's interesting
At
because
best, it was the third best job in the ACC when I was growing up.
That was the best conference in America.
But we do talk about the conference affiliation. We brought it up yesterday, and I think it is interesting because a Big Ten guy reached out to me yesterday. What do you think about SEC guy leaving for the Big Ten?
Yeah,
and
I don't even think of it that way. It's true.
Yeah, I don't either. I think everybody's got a hard on when it comes to the SEC, but like I didn't think about it like that either. But it is kind of a weird move. I mean, obviously, because nothing's ever been done. Like you go to Maryland, we know what's been accomplished at Maryland. Nothing has ever been accomplished at A&M, and A&M can pay more money.
And that is, to me, the most fascinating part of this story. Like A&M money is not an issue. We talk about this all the time. Facilities are not an issue. Coaches either keep not working there or leaving there. So explain that to me.
Not working is in having not enough success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So explain that to me.
Yeah.
Could it be our man, Trev Alberts?
Well, he's new to the job. He's new.
Yeah, but still, he's always seemed one of those guys that would be difficult to deal with. Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about that. On the surface, it seems like that.
Way back in the day when he was a guest with Herb and Ben, when I was producing that show, and Herb and Ray, he was always a very nice guy to me. I mean, we used to have him on frequently. I always liked Trev Alberts, but he did come across on TV.
Well, I mean, for him to leave Nebraska, I never thought he would leave Nebraska. I don't know. And you guys know this. If you don't have a good relationship with your boss, it can be really tough.
It really can be. That's where it gets interesting in the list, Brown.
Well,
because if Chris Beard says no, one of the names being mentioned is Nebraska's Fred Hoiberg. I don't know how you guys feel about the mayor.
I like Hoiberg.
I think he can coach. He's got a tough job in Nebraska right now.
Yeah. I just cannot figure out why nobody can ever win long-term at Texas A&M. And this is, as Volfan points out, I was about to mention this is the second time a coach has won enough at Texas A&M to parlay it into the Maryland job. Now, when Turgeon did it, Texas A&M was still Big 12. Maryland was still ACC, so it was an obvious step up. This is a far less obvious step up for Buzz Williams. So, but this is the second time a guy has parlayed that success into the Maryland job.
Okay, but how many guys have had Texas A&M, whether it's football or basketball, that you believed this guy can take it to the next level and dominate?
Nobody.
I never thought that with Buzz.
Nobody.
Never thought it with Jimbo Fisher.
Nope.
Kevin Sumlin. I mean, go through the list. You know, Billy Gillespie probably was the best A&M coach.
But see, a lot of that was smoke and mirrors. He went out and got a really good player in AC Law. which was a transfer from, was he a JUCO guy?
I don't remember.
I mean, they had that one good year, and he parlayed it into the Kentucky job, and then you saw how good he was at the Kentucky job, right? I mean, that was a failure.
Yeah, I'm just saying he was probably the best we've seen.
Yeah,
I don't know what
at
that really
A&M.
says.
Right.
Now, I do believe A&M, I don't know. I say Mike Elko. Mike Elko doesn't have enough, of a resume for us to 100% say that. Now, if Chris Beard comes in and gets this job, we will know how good A&M
That's right.
is.
That'll be a great test because we know that
really
guy
will be. Yeah.
We know that guy can flat coach.
Because if you can get Texas Tech playing for the national championship,
and Ole Miss within minutes of the Elite Eight, you can coach. But I mean, Lance mentioned it, the baseball coach, this Jim Schlossnagel. Now, I know very little about college baseball. Okay, so please don't think I'm trying to be an expert here on college baseball. I'm not an expert on anything. I know very little about college baseball. But this guy was winning big at Texas A&M.
Yes.
And went to Texas. Like, what does Texas have that A&M doesn't? I mean,
Well, I pictured them having more money.
they got chaps.
I guess.
You got dudes in uniforms.
They do have that. Female cheerleaders. Yeah, that's one answer.
I just feel like they even got more. I mean, Texas A&M has it all, and Texas has even more.
I'm just
than it all.
getting – the point I'm getting
Does the
at –
fan base end up creeping out the head coach?
maybe so. There is something we don't know about Texas A&M that these coaches know. There's something there that we don't on the surface know. It is one of the most fascinating athletic programs in America to me because
I'm sure Jimbo signed an NDA.
It seemingly has
But-
all the resources available to it, Lance. It's got all the fan support you could want. I mean, that stadium, you've been there. I don't know if you've
I
been.
haven't.
You've been there, Jim. 100 some odd thousand, and they get into the game, don't they? They cheer. They
great
stay.
tailgating, great fans, great
So
fans.
you've got all the support you could want. You've got all the money you could want. You've got all the facilities you could want. But the program never wins anything in any major sports, and I cannot figure out why.
I bet, though, A&M fans, if you talk to them today, I don't know how many A&M basketball fans are out there. It's probably Alabama, Auburn before Alabama and Auburn. They've got these new regimes. But I bet A&M basketball fans are like, Like, if you tell me we can get Chris Beard.
That's what I'm saying. I think I wake up today with a whistling and,
Good
morning, everybody. Get going. Get going. Yeah.
If I'm trading Buzz Williams for Chris Beard.
Yeah, just because, I mean, realistically, Buzz was never, maybe lightning in the bottle, he catches something that gets to a Final Four, was never going to win a championship. You bring in a guy like Chris Beard.
Yeah.
Well,
the only person that's sad today, in my opinion, is Maroon's Menswear right there on the corner of College Station and Main Street in College Station, because that three-piece vested suit that Buzz would sweat through. I can't sell him a new suit every week now.
And Beard ain't going to wear one.
Beard ain't going to wear one. That's the only thing I'd hate.
Well, next time we get Chip on, and we could get Chip on for a segment if we wanted to, we need to ask him directly about the A&M job, because he's a guy that's been covering not only Texas, but Texas A&M for a long time.
But here's the thing. Buzz Williams coached at Texas Tech and Texas. So if anybody knows the real story at A&M, Chris Beard coached Texas Tech and Texas. If anybody knows the real story, it'll be Chris Beard, right? Yeah. I doubt there's very much that would surprise him about Texas A&M because he was in that state so long. He recruited against them.
So let's see if he chooses to leave Ole Miss.
Right. Yeah,
now,
if he takes a job, I think it'll tell you a lot.
It will tell you a lot. But now there's going to be a significant money difference, don't you think? I don't know what he's making at Ole Miss. Now he's about to get a raise probably because he almost went to the Elite Eight.
He'll be making more tomorrow than he did today.
But if you can afford,
I mean, he's probably $8 million.
You're paying your football coach almost $10 million. And the basketball coach is better, but I get the difference between football and basketball. But if you can pay Lane $10 million, almost $10 million, Chris Beard should be
I think he's at $8 million.
He should be in the Bruce Pearl, Nate Oates neighborhood there.
And I guarantee you, if he took the A&M job, it would be, I want to be the highest paid coach on campus. And he would get more than Elko. I don't know what Elko's getting, 6, 7, 8.
He might tell him I want to pay the highest coach in America.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Beard, I at least try for it, don't you?
In basketball.
In basketball, I want more than Bill Self.
What a turnaround that would be.
Oh,
goes from it looks like the career is virtually over.
And you know who would hate it most is Texas fans.
Oh, yeah. Texas fans would be disgusted.
Yeah, they do not want this. Other names, if Beard turns it down, I mentioned Hoiberg from Nebraska, Brad Underwood from Illinois, Chris Jans from Mississippi State. And, boy, if Jans leaves Mississippi State,
it'd be tough for them.
That athletic program right now is in.
I think it
Chris Jans is the best thing.
I think it's a different. I think it is more about. I don't want to say commitment. It's just more about resources.
And then Texas Tech's Grant McCaslin But Tex NIL is spending so much money now. McCaslin, who sort of is a circle the wagon guy down in Lubbock, be interesting to see if he leaves there as well.
I mean, he almost had him back in the Final Four.
He did.
Should have.
And if you've got
He
the
looks
NIL
like one of the crew members from Star Trek.
He does. He does not look like what you envision a college basketball coach looking like. But if this $4 billion oil man will spend a little money on my basketball program, I don't go anywhere. If I can get him almost to the Final Four already.
Yeah. But I do wonder if you're in Texas. You talk about recruiting, Brown. So we'll go back to the Maryland job quickly. If you're Buzz leaving College Station, is it easier to get the best of the best who may be coming from the D.C., Northern Virginia, that area, Baltimore area? Is it easier to get them just to come to Maryland, or to ship them off to College Station or Lubbock?
Well, I think it depends on your NIL, and I think that's what Kevin Willard was saying on his way out the door is I can't compete with the commitment I'm getting from my NIL. And the crazy back to Buzz and going to Maryland, the crazy thing is, do you know who the athletic director is at Maryland right now?
Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to work for a boss you don't even know. You don't even know who the boss is going to be.
And I do appreciate when people know their worth. Like if a woman looks in a mirror and she's a 4, but she thinks she's an 8, it's a little weird sometimes.
Okay. What
My
about
point
a dude
was
that looks in the mirror and he's a 4?
Same thing.
Yeah.
My point was going to be Buzz maybe after 5 or 6 years at a place is like, man, I am a really above average coach, but that's about where I am. I'm about 23 or 24 wins, and it's going to get stale wherever I am, so I need to be jumping around. And maybe that's it. He just knows his worth because a lot of these moves don't make sense.
Well, it does get exciting sometimes to restart. Some people get addicted
Change of scenery,
to that.
yeah.
That was a Nick Saban thing until he got to Tuscaloosa.
Well, I thought
that was sort of one of the scouting reports on Nick Saban.
Yeah.
He won't be there long, man. He doesn't like to stay anywhere long.
Which I honestly thought was a bit unfair to Nick Saban because, he had the Michigan State job. I'm going to have to do this off the top of my head. 5 years, I think.
Yeah, but
the LSU job was, it was an obvious upgrade.
Every move was an upgrade.
That's right. That's why,
until it wasn't when he left the NFL for Alabama.
Right. Well, that was when he realized he made a huge mistake going to the NFL. But the Buzz job jumper, he's not going to better jobs. I mean, this guy's just, it's like the lily pads in the swamp. He's just bouncing around, and sometimes he lands on a worse lily pad and jumps over to a better one and then gets back on a worse one. It's not like he's climbing the ladder. Buzz hasn't gone from the head coach at Liberty to Marquette to NC State to Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not climbing the ladder here.
He's playing Frogger.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get to the other side of the street.
But I
time.
do think jumping around is more exciting when you're young, right? I mean, Buzz is not a young man anymore.
He's not. But it's a clean slate, fresh start for him at Maryland. We'll see what Texas A&M does. We'll keep you open, up to date on that. All sorts of portal stuff happening. If anything important happens there with people you may know, we'll let you know. We'll keep you updated on that. We'll talk Auburn basketball leaving today for the Final Four in this segment as soon as we're done telling you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them, our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA, there to help you guys as you stay on top of your health from your 20s to your 30s and 30s to 40s and so on. Early detection, so important. But any other problem that arises from kidney stones to prostate health, vasectomies, everything in your life, Urology Centers of Alabama can help you with. 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. They got 16 wonderful locations, 35 urologists on staff there to help you with our great friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. The number again, 205-930-0920, and also urologycentersalabama.com. And Brownie, NASCAR coming to Talladega.
It is coming right back to the Talladega Super Speedway. You could go be part of it. Again, I tell you all the time, if you have never done this, you are absolutely missing out. If you've lived in Alabama any amount of time and haven't visited a race at Talladega, you haven't seen anything yet. The Talladega Super Speedway, basically, if I described it, 2.5 miles, nothing but pure speed and incredible action every single turn. You can participate in the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at the Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That is TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
By the way, I saw where you can buy the Auburn jerseys with the Final Four patch on it now. I don't know if it was from one of my TikTok shops or what.
If it's TikTok shop, it's going to be bad, right?
But I saw them in orange and blue and white. Just know that if you want to be authentic, Auburn will not wear an orange or a blue jersey in San Antonio because they
Number
are
one overall seed.
They're the number one overall seed. They will be in the home whites the entire ride. So if you want to be historically authentic and you're going ahead to purchase your Auburn Final Four patch jersey,
I think it's their best look, by the way.
the home whites.
Yep.
I don't know. There's something about the blues I like too.
I like those home whites.
Yeah. Make it a poll question, Little T. Which are your favorite Auburn basketball jerseys? The home whites, the road blues, or
I've noticed Lance
or the orange?
Lance in football.
He's
You almost always go
road
road
whites.
Lance
Yeah.
is a white guy.
Yeah.
He is a
I
white
am,
guy. Yes,
yeah.
in
Yeah,
many
yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with Lance on the road uniforms in football. By and large, if you look at most teams, their road uniform looks better. I think
In basketball or football?
no football in football.
Yeah,
In basketball, I pay far
Boy, I
less
think
attention
this
to
is
it in
one of those
basketball.
things that you've changed over the years. I think you've changed, and I think Lance influences you sometimes
what?
to change. I think the white jerseys is. I think you originally you were
Be a
you were
strange thing to influence you
Yeah, I
on.
know.
No, I'm just saying we've been around each other so much that I find myself, if I had hair, I think I'd style it like you guys do because it's a good look for you guys.
Yeah.
I think you're around people long enough, you start to I was wrong about that. I think you guys are
Well,
right about
if,
this.
If I did, in fact, I think sometimes you remember things I say I don't actually say. But if I
That's
did,
true.
in fact, say
Again, a married couple.
If I did, in fact, and are you going to eat that dinner that I left in the fridge?
Yeah.
And if I did, in fact, say that in the past, perhaps I have changed. But by and large, I like teams' white jerseys better. I do think Alabama's white is by far and away their best football uniform.
Yeah.
Auburn's one of those uniforms where I think I probably like the home better than I do the away.
Yeah, that's true with Auburn, with me too.
Yeah.
But here's Auburn putting the patches on the jerseys, not video from a TikTok shop.
If you're playing
Thankfully.
meaningful basketball,
Ooh, I like
and
that
when I say
logo.
meaningful basketball, we mean the NCAA tournament. We don't mean any of these other, off-brand tournaments. If you're playing when the regular season of Major League Baseball is going on, you've had a good
Yep,
good
I
season.
agree.
Had a great year.
And I'm not talking about the Tokyo games either.
Yeah, I'm. So they're in the whites. I will tell you, you've influenced me. I never liked the white uniforms. Like the white USC, I would have said the home USC forever. But once you had me look at it,
Why just like the white with the yellow pant?
yeah, I like that one better. I probably would have never said Texas, but
Ooh,
now I
that
like
road.
the Texas.
Oh,
road
the Texas all white.
Boy, that
Yeah.
red white is crisp.
And
The Alabama all whites are.
Yeah.
Those are clean, man.
I was an Alabama home jersey guy until you guys made me look at the whites again. And I was like, God, the whites are better. So y'all have influenced me on these whites as well.
When it's a good crisp, the only thing
So I'll probably be wrong about this Auburn jersey. I'll probably see the blue ones next year. Their
I
first
wanna
road
see
game and go, I
you-
like the whites better.
Well, if Auburn wins, I'll be the spray tan. But I'd love to see you with one of those jerseys, just nothing underneath with the spray tan.
Shorts though, right?
and Lance said nothing underneath. Don't try to skirt it.
I don't know. Yeah. By the way, I'm
wearing Janai's jersey, so it's down to my knees.
we do need clarification. Do we have to do the full spray tan, or is it just the spray tan for the optics of SEC Media
Well, I
Days?
mean,
I
generally,
assumed full.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
it's got
you
to be the full experience.
I mean, EG says she's going to handle this on the spray tan front because she's experienced. But don't you just stand in there and you get sprayed all over? You put on a swimsuit, right? A bikini if you're a chick.
I assume so.
Oh, I
I've
think
never
some
gotten a
people just
spray
go.
tan.
Dunaway would probably go nude, won't you?
I mean, I don't want tan lights.
Yeah, get those balls sprayed.
Mr. Dunaway. Why did you take your pants off? My balls was hot.
Gonna need a little bit more from nozzle
Hey, by the
number
way,
9.
do you feel
Can I get a little more from nozzle 9, please?
do you feel better in your spot where you've literally got the field?
You've got 3 versus 1.
I do not feel good at all. I don't feel good at all.
I think it's 50-50 right now. I do think Duke's the best team, but
Yep. And I will say right now, as you look at the bracket challenge standings, I have a prepared statement to say that I will, by creed and promise, I will be making no predictions about either semifinal or national championship Final Four games here on the air or on social media. So do not expect to see a Jim Dunaway tweet and or comment both directly or indirectly about the outcomes of this game.
We need to talk about
weekend.
this.
So you're not going to make a pick.
I have never liked the people bowing out that have to call the game. I don't think it means that much that their pick is going to affect their call.
Like Herb Street, you're calling the game. Just tell me,
Son of a, I cannot believe.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just, as I flip to page 2 of my new friendship agreement with Taylor Korn, I will not in any way comment about Auburn's chances of winning or losing in San Antonio.
I don't think this is fair to the rest of the sports universe. I think you've got to be yourself here.
Section 3 says, no matter how much Lance tries to influence you, Jim, I will slaughter you.
Okay.
In a very brutal way.
Brown, how about, do you feel like he should be himself?
Yes, I always want Jim to be himself.
Maybe we should bring Taylor in and just ask her if she really cares. Would she rather you be objective or she just doesn't want you to talk? We can't have a gag order on you.
You've picked Florida in your bracket.
Yeah.
So we know you think Florida's going to beat Auburn. I think most Auburn fans would want to hear you say that.
I did have a server tell me he heard you at dinner telling somebody that you believe Auburn's the best team, and you put Florida just because you didn't want Auburn fans getting on your ass. Any truth to that?
A server. Don't always spit out of tail for 2 weeks, and you're going to try to sell that line.
It was in Hoboken.
It was.
Hey, by the way, the one thing that is going underreported, as my wife pointed out to me, is this will be the 3rd consecutive year I don't have to suffer a punishment. That has to be a record for the duration
that
of
is
our
a
show.
record, yeah.
Because 2 years ago it was Lance.
It was me, yeah.
And then it was me last year.
That's right. Now,
Wow.
I did have to go to deliver, but that was a second place. Like the
That was
ultimate
a punishment for me and Reed.
Yeah, the ultimate punishment, though. The ultimate punishment. I have not had to serve for 3 years running now, which I think since we started the show.
That's a personal record.
That is a personal record.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of it.
I would say, based on the numbers, you've had your best bracket.
Yeah.
You know, before Auburn, Michigan State, I had Michigan State beating Auburn. I was number 2 in the entire standing.
Oh, I was going to say Michigan State would have beat them. Hell, you'd probably be
I
number one
might
right
have won
now.
the whole thing, yeah. That was where I screwed up.
Lance and I have never gone back-to-back. I'm the one that could be the first back-to-back.
That's right.
Non-Brown back-to-back.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've definitely gone back-to-back, yeah.
So
never
for
lost
sure, though, I've lost twice of our 14 or whatever.
think I've
For
lost
sure,
3.
if Duke wins,
You're
I'm in the
the
clear.
winner. If anybody else wins, you're done.
Duke's got to win the national championship.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm standings again for us. I'm 8 points ahead.
That's right.
Of you, Lance.
This next round is worth 5. The
next
final
round's
4 wins
worth
are
5.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The final
Okay.
one's worth 6.
6.
Okay.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
that's 11.
And you both have Florida, so that cancels out. So it really, Houston Duke, if Houston wins, it's over for you.
Well, I just jacked myself with that Houston bracket.
Oh, boy, did you.
And you know what's funny, and I don't know if you guys remember this, Monday when we were going through it, I was like, the only teams that could win this region are Houston or Tennessee. They're the only teams that could win it.
Yeah, and then you went
And then I
Clemson.
put Clemson.
Well, I tell you what, as Volfan 205 points out, Brown has not lost 3 straight times, and it ironically corresponds with the times I have been the Ken Palm update guy on the show.
Oh, wow.
Like, I think Ken Palm has made me smarter.
I also think it's been chalkier.
Oh, so you think I just go chalk? I really did not pick a whole lot of upsets, and the ones I picked, I got right. I had Drake in the first round, upsetting Missouri, and I had Colorado State actually winning 2 games, which, my gosh, they almost beat Maryland in that
I don't know
second
how they
game.
did.
I don't know how they didn't win that game. So I did go pretty chalky in my bracket. My upsets, by and large, hit.
I think this was the chalkiest bracket of all time.
Yeah, I think I had Grand Canyon in the Sweet 16.
I had Clemson in the Final Four.
Yes, I remember.
I mean, we'll whip that
That's-
out. Yeah.
It's gonna make me George Hamilton come July. Where is SEC Media Days?
Oh, it's
by
in
the way?
Atlanta.
It's in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, we didn't get to the Auburn departure. We'll do that when we come back. Hemp Hill brings you the lock every day, lanceslock.com. Where last night, did you have either UC Irvine or Chattanooga? Did you have a play on
I had
either one of those?
Chattanooga. I did.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Can I toe tag it? Can you flash the lights here? I'm going to officially toe tag the National Invitational Tournament, the NIT. It is dead. Time of death, 9:28 Central Time.
They had rescinded invitation this year.
UC Irvine and Chattanooga playing in Madison Square Garden. How tough is that ticket
Oh, boy, I'll look it up. That's got to be.
for the NIT championship?
No, you could give the. Yes, you would have some homeless that would come in, but I was going to say you give the free concessions we talked about at Coastal Carolina yesterday, and I don't think 9 out of 10 people would not come off the street of New York to go in there.
Well, I think the weather's turned up there. I think the homeless would be like, no, it's nicer out here. I don't have to watch Chattanooga UC Irvine.
UC Irvine and Chattanooga are playing in the NIT. Toe tag that one.
Yeah.
Hey,
NIT dead.
by the way, that's not at Madison Square Garden.
Where is it?
They play it at Hinkle Fieldhouse,
Oh,
which is Butler's place.
Yeah.
got history.
So they've taken the NIT out of New York?
Correct.
Oh, well, then it died. When did they do that? It died then. We don't pay attention to the NIT in this state.
No, I'm about to give you the ticket prices.
With that said, 4-0 last night. So 2-0 in college hoops, 2-0 last night in Major League Baseball. We actually stayed away from the NBA last night, but a nice 4-0 for us. Always a free winner every single day at Lance'sLock.com. Brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing issues since 1954. I've got the guys coming out next week just to run a maintenance on the AC to make sure it's up and ready to roll all summer long. 205-229-2090. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Your get-in is $2 tonight for that game.
Is it tonight or tomorrow? I don't
Whenever it
doesn't
is,
matter.
your get-in is $2.
$2.
You can sit basically front row courtside for $7. So I'd go with the $7 if I were you.
Yeah.
I mean, if my son was playing in the game,
yeah, I'd buy a ticket.
I'd be there, but that's about it.
That's about it. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Update on the actual national championship game point spreads. The Duke Blue Devils holding on right there as a 5-point favorite. That's up from where it opened a little bit. But a 5-point favorite for the Duke Blue Devils in the national championship. And the Auburn Tigers, a 2.5-point underdog as they take on the Florida Gators. You can play that. The NIT, if you happen to want to watch that game for some reason. Guess what I found at MyBookie.ag today that's pretty new there? You see it all the time in Major League Baseball parks all over the place. I don't know if you guys participate with it in Major League parks.
50-50.
The 50-50. They got it at mybookie.ag right now.
I do like the 50-50.
50-50, $5 a ticket, just like you're in a Major League Baseball
Yeah.
park. You play it every day. I opened up mybookie.ag today to look at the point spreads, and the winners popped up. Like here, last night's two winners, they both took home $7,800 in the 50-50.
Wow.
Play it right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round at mybookie.ag. Get you a sign-on bonus, 50% up to $1,000, and you get that $10 casino chip. mybookie.ag, code next round. mybookie.ag, code next round.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. from day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Little southern rock bump there. I like that, Tyler.
Sounds like the Almonds a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit on the guitar riff. As we're back with you on the Next Round, as we said, Auburn departing today at 11:30 with the reverse Tiger Walk. This Final Four update being brought to you by a couple of great folks. Our friends at New Life Art getting ready to maybe paint new great memories in the local sports scene, something Daniel A. Moore's been doing for a long, long time. You can get the latest, the legend, Nick Saban right now, and all the great works from yesteryear at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. The promo code is TNR there. Always use that. The legend, 6 national championships, and go back in the history books and find a cut you like. Look at some of the great moments over the years that you can find with Daniel A. Moore's great works. It's all right there at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR. And our friends Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys, there to help you when you need them.
That's right. Headquartered in Birmingham, 24 years. The firm has grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they've recovered more than $2 billion. The firm now handles not only personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
Cheney Johnson, after the win back on Sunday, talking about a rematch with Florida coming up in the semifinals on Saturday. Is that a advantage that you've seen them before? A little motivation? What about it, Cheney?
Florida has a great team, and yeah, they was good enough to beat us at home. So, I mean, we just gotta go game by game. I mean, it's another team in a way of us getting to national championship. So, we just gotta continue putting our head down, continue staying humble, continue staying hungry, and just go out there and play with great effort and great energy.
I was at that game back on February 8th. It broke a 14-game win streak that Auburn was on. Auburn didn't play great. They were really sloppy turning the ball over that day. Didn't really possess the ball very well. As you pair these two teams up in this matchup, do you think Auburn has a little bit of a advantage knowing they've played once before, they lost that game, they maybe saw the best punch that Florida could throw them, and you know the best punch they have now, and you get to sort of, correct your problems against that? How does that play in your head?
Yeah, so I think, and a lot of this is matchup, and you see Seth Greenberg brought up the fact that Johni did have problems in the paint with Florida's bigs, but I do think that was kind of the moment that everybody nationally saw Florida and they were like, oh damn, this team is really, really good. Let's not forget, going into that game in Neville, Auburn was an 8.5-point favorite.
That's right.
I don't think anybody really expected Auburn to lose that game, and the way they lost that game.
100%.
So, sometimes you've heard guys in football, man, I didn't realize that quarterback was that fast until we actually got on the field. I don't think that Auburn realized how physical, how big, how skilled Florida was. So I don't think that's going to surprise them at all. So I do think it's a little bit of advantage, obviously, that Auburn has seen them before.
You know, he's not playing a ton of minutes right now since he came back, but keep in mind Micah Handlockton was not in that game either. That was before his return.
Yeah, I would counter with that Johni Broome was less than percentage he was for most of the season after that.
You're absolutely right.
But I would also say that Houck is not playing to the level. I mean, he had a pretty good game against Auburn around, first go around, but Houck has turned it up.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody was saying over the weekend, but this guy's made himself a lot of money in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Clayton is obviously the guy that worries you the most. I mean, you can play great defense on him, and he can play you out of the game. So
I would counter with Florida hasn't played up to the potential it was playing at the end of the year, including winning in Nashville. They have not looked good in this tournament.
No, I wouldn't say they haven't looked good. I mean,
they had to
they're
rally
in the Final Four.
They had to rally to beat UConn, and they had to have a miracle 18-2 run to beat Texas Tech.
Yeah, they have, and I would agree with you. I think outside of outside of Maryland and what they did to Maryland in the second half of that game, it really hasn't looked like the crisp Florida team. Now, you go back to that 1 minute you had against Texas Tech. That's what we've seen from Florida. So, can they bottle that for, a full 40 minutes? If they can, they're going to win a national championship. But the way they played against both UConn and Texas Tech, they will get beat.
But I did make that point the other day. I wouldn't agree with your characterization that they haven't looked good. They're in the Final Four. I don't think you get to the Final Four without looking good. Have they played to the level they came into the tournament? No, and that was what I was talking about the other day. I think the majority. If you said, all right, give me best team in America, I think the biggest number in the percentage column would have been Florida coming into this tournament. If you polled all of America, who's playing the best basketball right now?
That's why I picked them to win the national championship.
That's right. That's why I had them in the national championship game, because I looked at it, and I think the biggest percentage number would have been the Florida Gators. I think if you redid the poll right now, the easy biggest percentage number is the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, right? I would agree.
And it just shows you how hard it is. And we said this about Auburn when they played elite basketball in November, then played it again in December, and then played it again in January. And we talked about on this show, it is hard to keep that going for the duration of the college basketball season. So often you'll see teams that are elite early, and then a team like Florida comes along, and they have 2 really good months, and you're like, maybe I was wrong all along. Maybe Florida's the best team in the nation.
No. Your point is, and I agree with this, in January and February, Auburn was easily the best team in the country, in my opinion.
Yep. Even after they lost at Duke, everybody's like, Yeah.
In March, I felt like it was the Florida Gators. And right now, I probably think it's the Duke Blue Devils.
And that's the way basketball works. And that's why it's so hard to pick this thing.
What's crazy about this tournament is you play 2 games, then short break. It's almost like a reset.
Yeah.
And you got to capture that success you had in 2 more games. Now it's even a little bit longer of a break. And now you got to recreate it 2 more games. It's hard to do
but
that.
But I don't think anybody right now is like, damn, I feel like this team's going to win the national championship.
Exactly.
Last year at this time going into this weekend, it was like, man, if everything hits right for Purdue might be able to win this with Edey. But if it doesn't, UConn's going to walk away with this thing, and they ultimately did.
And so much of it is about matchups, too. Like, how many Elite 8 teams, fan bases, watched Alabama play BYU and thought, God, I wish Alabama was our game we had to win to go to the Final Four?
Yeah.
No, I mean, they didn't.
Nobody.
But you look at it, and you're like, yeah, but that was a super favorable matchup for Alabama against BYU.
I think everybody wanted Michigan State.
Yeah.
I agree.
But that was a great matchup for Alabama against BYU. Now, to Alabama's credit, they took advantage of it, and they ran BYU out of the gym. But it didn't mean that Alabama was that much better than everybody else, that was there. Just they got a really good matchup against BYU and took advantage of it the way great teams do.
I do think the way Duke's defense played against Alabama has sort of brought a rise to that conversation that Duke is playing better than anybody now because of Duke's defense.
Yeah, I do think people are like, oh, damn. Aaron Suttles on Bama and Bourbon, which is up and available. Thank you very much, Scott Forrester. The final edition of this season until we get to August. But, Aaron was there much like you were in Newark, and he's like, I can't really explain, but just looking at Duke, their length and how they defend, like if they play like they did against Alabama, they're unbeatable.
Their length and the way they played defense had Alabama afraid to shoot. They were hesitant to take the 3-point shot.
When they could even get a look, they were hesitant to do it. There were times where they couldn't even get a look.
I will say this. Houston is fearless. Now, Houston will take those shots and just get them blocked. But Houston's going to go toe-to-toe with them physically.
Yeah, interesting matchup.
a couple more things about Auburn here in this segment. After we remind you, the show is being brought to you in part today by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. Great time as we roll into spring to say, I love you in a very special way.
Yeah, I don't know if we've still got Secretary Day. That's probably I think
it's Office Assistant
Day.
Day.
Office Assistant Day. I think that's in April.
Okay.
If you want to take care of somebody in the office that's been doing a great job, nothing like a gift card.
Or as you would call it, you could have Stewardess Appreciation Day, Old Lady Appreciation Day, Waitress Appreciation Day, the old lady.
He's the one that calls them sweetheart or sweet cheek, sweet cakes.
Sweetie, you got any iced tea?
Anyway, you want to take care of the woman in your life or even the man in your life. I'm telling you, there is nothing more relaxing than getting great treatments from our friends at Birmingham's Best Day Spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa, located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. Make sure you tell Stuart and the great staff the guys from the next round sent you. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the body treatments, the skin care, the nail services, waxing, massages. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's Best Day Spa since 2009. Again, order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
On the side note of the flight attendant and the office assistant, are we losing Hooters? Did I miss a story along the way?
Is the whole thing going out of business?
Is it going out of business?
Here comes Jeeves.
They are filing for bankruptcy.
Oh, well, that's probably just a reorganization.
Yeah,
I bet they'll close some locations.
Doesn't put you out.
I believe they are closing a lot of locations.
Yeah, they'll probably.
Whole sort of style of restaurant
If
is
I'm
falling out of
guessing gun to head, I remember we used to have 5 or 6. I think there's only 2. I think there's the one in Pelham still, and then I think there is the one in Trussville. But I think we've only got 2.
The one out on Lakeshore is going now?
I think so.
In Wildwood?
I can't tell you the last time I've been into Hooters.
No, it's been a while.
It's been a minute for me. I was never the biggest fan.
Me either, because I didn't like their food.
I didn't like the hair coming off the wing.
That's me too.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There was hair on the wings all the time.
Like from the waitresses?
Or I should say feathers.
Yeah.
Oh, feathers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you'd still get a feather on the wing.
Yeah. A lot.
Listen, I'm all for fresh, but I'd like it to be defeathered.
Yeah, and I'm all for, I say this half jokingly, but I know you've got to be kind of responsible. But the thing that bothered me is we would do the Monday night football shows up there forever. And you would get a hard-ass waitress that would be like, you can only have 4 beers, per visit. So, like, you're in there.
So she'd keep you on the count.
Well, you're doing
count.
a show, and then you're doing 3 hours of watching a game, and you're drinking a beer an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had to pace it.
And the feathers are absorbing the alcohol
right.
that I'm eating on my wings here. So,
but we used to do a lot with Hooters back in the day because they were a partner at Jocks. Remember, they would have the blackout once a week where the girls would wear the black uniforms. They were doing it before Oregon was.
Alternate Hooters.
Yeah, they
uniforms?
had camo.
I missed that.
It's a big home game.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm a more traditional white guy. I like that.
They're going to keep all of their restaurants open, but they're selling them off to franchise groups instead of it being owned by.
So they were all corporate owned. I didn't know that. I thought they had franchisees. Interesting.
They have some franchisees, but the rest of the corporate-owned Hooters
are about to go to franchisees.
Are going to go to franchisees because they've got $376 million of debt.
Yeah,
well, that's significant.
They're augmenting their business plan, is what they're doing there.
Yes, they're trying to. Yes, they don't want a reduction for sure.
Hooters at one time had a market that nobody else had.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to not go to a strip club and see an attractive girl that was going to sit at your table, still milk you for a different.
I'm uncomfortable with that phrase.
I would change the language.
So some big awards came out yesterday.
Scott has an idea in the chat. He says, "Let's buy a Hooters."
Why do you think so, Scott?
For the shitty food or the shitty service or
yes.
So we just move our studio to a Hooters?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, Forrester, are you wanting to do the hiring? What I mean, is there something about that plan? I mean, there's 1,000 other restaurants I'd choose.
There are also 1,000 other restaurants that I would choose.
Okay. Yeah.
It'd be cool to just reach over and grab some wings.
Okay, I didn't know where that was going to end, but you're right. The wings would be a definite bonus. Yes,
little different in the '70s when Hooters. What are they open in Clearwater, Florida?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Trivia tonight at Odie's. Tell us about Odie's, and we'll get into the big awards won yesterday by Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, hey, look, it is Wednesday night. That means Odie's Team Trivia. We do it every Wednesday. The original location at Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Fantastic food at both of those locations, from the award-winning wings, great burgers, fantastic sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. And don't forget about those Odie's famous cup cocktails. They are the absolute best. Live music on Fridays and Saturdays. But come see us tonight, Crestline, 8 o'clock, Odie's Team Trivia. Get in and see Will Haver and the great staff. It is a Birmingham institution.
Zep Jasper will join us, former Auburn Tiger, coming up at the top of the hour. Bruce Pearl yesterday received the National Association of Basketball Coaches Coach of the Year. So his peers at the NABC voted Bruce Pearl the National Coach of the Year. Now, they were preseason number 11, I believe Auburn was, in the AP poll. Alabama was 2. North Carolina was 1, so Hubert Davis was out of the running for National Coach of the Year. Shire.
Understandably.
Shire, Duke was ranked higher, I think. Houston was ranked higher, and Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah.
There's nobody in this Final Four that maybe Todd Golden should have been in the running.
You can make an argument for Golden. I think that kind of, I can't remember where they started preseason, but I don't remember people saying, oh, Florida, look out for them winning a national
probably
championship.
Lower than 11. They were probably ranked behind Auburn.
I mean, I can make an argument for every one of these guys in the Final Four. Like Shire, the guy that is supposed to win and just wins never gets considered for these things.
Rick Pitino should be your Coach of the Year. I mean, no disrespect to Bruce Pearl. I think so.
Yeah, but
St. John's completely off the map. In 2 years, what he has done is incredible. They were a 2 seed. I mean, I expected Auburn to be really good this year, and that's a credit to Bruce Pearl, what he has done for Auburn basketball. But, I mean, St. John's came out of nowhere.
Cooper Flagg is your Player of the Year from the NABC, not the Wooden Player of the Year. That's still to come. And Johni Broome is your Big Man of the Year from the National Association of Basketball Coaches there. The Wooden finalists were announced, though. No surprise, Cooper Flagg, Johni Broome, the 2 favorites to win that. Starting to feel like that's going to end up being a shared title. I really do.
Oh, co-players of the year?
Have we ever had? I know we've had co-MVPs before in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the shared.
Yeah, it's been just neck and neck all year. We'll see.
I wouldn't have a problem with that, would you?
I would not.
I'm going to guess it has never happened, and I'm going to also guess we've had years where it has been this close of a race.
I don't
remember them.
5 finalists: Flagg, Broome, Walter Clayton Jr., Braden Smith, and Mark Sears of Alabama is a Wooden finalist there. And also Broome and Sears are the Wooden All-Americans. They're on the Wooden All-American team. So congratulations to Johni Broome and Mark Sears of our local teams there who made the Wooden All-American and Wooden Player of the Year finalist list.
As I scan real quickly, I don't think you've ever had a shared winner in this. So I think it would be highly unlikely that you would this year. There never has been one going back to 1977 when the Wooden Award started. So I don't think so. But I will say having 2 in the state of Alabama, 2 finalists, is pretty remarkable.
It is remarkable. Johni Broome, no practice yesterday, as Stephen Pearl told you on our show. Bruce Pearl on CBS Sports HQ went a little further and said he will not practice today at all. He'll do no basketball stuff today either as the team works out and then travels to San Antonio. They hope to have him practice to sort of get back on the court and do basketball stuff on Thursday. He is doing constant treatment on his elbows and his ankles and his shoulders and his knees. But Thursday they hope to get him back on the court in San Antonio for practice. And then, of course, Friday's open at the Alamo Dome. Taylor Corn will be there with our coverage happening all weekend long at Next Round Live. If you'd like to do that, presented by our great friends at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. We appreciate them so much, and Taylor's coverage. Looking forward to that coming up from San Antonio. One more thing basketball-wise to get to right here before Tyler gives us our viewing menu today is Meechie Johnson. You guys remember that name, yep. Meechie Johnson. Meechie Johnson played his first 2 years of college basketball at Ohio State. Pandemic year, Ohio State. Year after the pandemic when we started this platform at Ohio State. Then he went to South Carolina for 2 years. South Carolina and South Carolina. Then he went back to Ohio State last year for a 5th year. Well, Meechie Johnson gets a 6th year, and where the heck do you think he's going to play it?
back to South
Oh,
Carolina.
really? He's going back home.
Yeah.
All right. Good for Michi.
So it was Ohio State, South Carolina, Ohio State, and he's going to finish at South Carolina. It's like he is a 77-year-old New Yorker who has a home down in Miami.
Or could he have one a girl in Columbus and another
Maybe
girl in Columbia?
Yeah. He is going to play at 2 different schools 2 different times in 6 years. 2-2-1-1-1.
The first terrible April Fool's joke I saw yesterday, and I bid on it initially, was that Hunter Dickinson had been given a 7th year of eligibility and was hitting the transfer portal, only because that is so believable in today's world. Yeah. Now, it was a viral April Fool's joke.
Here's Michi, LOL, I get it. Going back to the same 2 schools twice, this isn't what I imagined nor thought my career would be like, but I serve a perfect, merciful, and graceful God, capital G, please, and I know this is his journey for me. Hashtag unheard of. Good luck, Michi. Glad to have you back in the SEC. Viewing menu today brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. We'll find out what Tyler is watching in just a second.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. I got the procedure done over 20 years ago. Still have 2015 vision. Better than 2020. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Sorry about that. Got a few different things tonight. First off, we got a limited release tonight at the movies. It is called Scream Boat. The description for this movie is, be our guest on a New York City ferry ride that turns into a hilarious nightmare when a mischievous mouse, Steamboat Willie, becomes a monstrous reality. Can the unsuspecting passengers survive the creature's miniature murder and mayhem?
So the Steamboat Willie trademark is over, is basically what that means.
Yeah, this was the movie. This was the thing they started working on when Mickey Mouse with the Steamboat Willie became available.
Yeah.
I remember us talking about this. Was a project they were working on, making him a menace.
Sounds awful, but are you going to see it?
I am. It stars David Howard Thornton, who is Art the Clown in the Terrifier franchise, and an Alabama native.
Oh, wow.
The
really?
Terrifier franchise?
Yes.
So
is that as successful as the Die Hard franchise?
No.
Is this animated?
It is not.
Oh, wow. So
This
Steamboat.
This is a guy in a mouse costume, and he's going to be a slasher villain. He looks like Steamboat Willie.
Wow.
Where in Alabama is little boy from? Do you know?
I
you don't have to look it up. Don't worry. I thought you'd have it off the
The
top of your head.
Funiac Springs, man. Or is that Florida?
That's Florida.
Yeah.
If you don't want to watch that and you want to stay home tonight, at 6 p.m. on the VH1 channel, you can watch Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. And then later on tonight at 8:30 on the Sci-Fi Network is The Exorcist from 1973.
We'll never watch it again. Made the mistake of watching it one time. Has anybody seen Mobland, which is the new Paramount? Guy Ritchie produced it.
I've seen the
Pierce Brosnan, Tom Hardy.
That's the
Helen
one we
Mirren.
show how old Pierce Brosnan is in this.
Yeah, the reviews were not good.
Oh, were
so
they
I was
not?
just wondering if anybody'd seen it.
No, did not. And that's what Tyler is watching tonight, brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, again, make that phone call. Call for the absolutely free consultation, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Hey, and don't forget, there are a lot of difficult decisions you'll make throughout your day. Bojangles at lunch is not one of them. You can go to Bojangles today, and you can get those great Bo Bites, the bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. Perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part for you is going to be choosing from 6 dipping sauces, one for every craving, from the creamy house-made ranch to the sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today. Discover the dippable, shareable, craveable Bo Bites. It's Bo time.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender. Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in-store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus. A 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Zep Jasper will be with us in a second to talk about Auburn basketball, where they've come. He knows this roster very well. We'll talk to him coming up. CBS Sports asking a question about Duke's freshman class. Is it the best freshman class ever? I laugh out loud. I'll tell you why coming up a little bit later on this hour. Familiar names went into the portal yesterday. Our portal update brought to you by our friends at NASCAR, because over 1,700 names are in the portal now in college basketball. NASCAR Fast, it fills up. Michigan's Trey Donaldson.
I've heard of him.
Former Auburn player to Michigan. Now he's in the portal, averaged 11 and 4, 11 points, 4 assists. But this is the one that gets you. One of the glue guys for Michigan State and Tom Izzo. This guy's leaving Tom Izzo, and he is one of the glue guys that kind of
guy they build a program around there in East Lansing. Michigan State guard Trey Holloman in the portal. Averaged 9-3, but he was a big part of what Izzo does at Michigan State. That's a little portal update there, brought to you NASCAR Fast by our friends at Talladega.
The biggest Spanish track in NASCAR is Talladega Superspeedway, ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been, you have to go. It is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed, incredible action at every turn. Do not miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Now, while we wait on Zep Jasper here, I want to talk about that Duke freshman class. CBS Sports asked the question, but then they point out that maybe the team to beat is 1965 UCLA's freshman class.
I bet it's a bunch of Hall of Famers. Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, you couldn't play as a freshman back then, but they had Lou Alcindor.
Yeah, pretty good career.
Yeah, turned out
ended
okay.
up being, what was his name?
Kareem.
Yeah.
And Kareem, by the way, I don't know if I like these Capital One commercials.
Oh, the blimp?
Just all of them.
All of them?
Some of them are good. Some of them with the Kareem, I don't know, a little bit much. But Kareem,
his ice Kareem truck,
second best player of all time, best big of all time.
I'll take the cookies at Kareem.
Lou Alcindor, Lucius Allen, and Lynn Shackelford were on that team. Famous because the freshmen couldn't play. John Wooden had his freshman who couldn't play the varsity, who was the defending national champions, and they beat them by 8 in an exhibition game leading into the season. The freshmen beat the defending national champs who had everybody back by 8.
Yeah.
And they couldn't play that year. When they could play their sophomore year, they went 30-0 in 1966. In 1967, they went 29-1 and won the national championship. In 1968, they went 28-2 and won the national championship.
Wooden didn't lose a lot of games.
Three games in 3 years is what Lou Alcindor and that freshman class lost. But they can't be considered the best freshman class of all time because they didn't play.
Yeah. I see.
So that's how they get into this conversation about whether this Duke team is or not.
Well, I'm going to roll the dice and say Cooper Flagg does not have as good a career as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I would agree.
Yeah, I will be third on that list.
But for what they did in college, it's Kareem had to play. Once he got to play, he had to play all 3 years before he could go to the NBA, right? You couldn't leave early then, I don't think. I could be wrong about that, but I think he played 3 full years.
Yeah.
So you're only going to see Flagg this 1 year in all likelihood. I mean, I guess there's a chance he could return and take a bundle of money.
Well, we did talk about that. His parents, both former players. He says he loves the experience. He's from Maine.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, I just don't know how much,
Well, the local Maine, small town Maine TV stations were there in Newark covering him.
Were they really?
2 different stations, yeah.
I will say this, though, back to the conversation we had yesterday about hating Duke players. If he stays another year, he will become hated.
There's no doubt he will.
Yeah. But Cooper Flagg, Knipple, and Maluwak, they represent 62% of the points scored for Duke. The freshman class does. Does that sound like a lot?
It's 62%?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 starters. I mean...
Yeah, 62% of the scoring.
It's about right.
These freshman class had more percentages. The Fab Five scored 75% of their points.
Well, they were the starters.
You had all 5.
Yeah, all 5 of them were starting.
And then maybe the best freshman class of all time, 2014 Kentucky, 82% of the points that Kentucky team scored was by freshmen.
Do you have that? Is that Anthony Davis?
No.
That's the one that lost in the national championship game, right? Or the semifinals.
Yeah, that was the team that lost to Wisconsin.
They didn't lose all year until Wisconsin. Yeah. But that's the thing, that maybe Duke could claim the best freshman class if they win it all, because Fab Five didn't win a national championship. That Kentucky team didn't win a national championship. I don't think this resonates to be the greatest freshman class of all time.
I don't think so. No.
But CBS Sports with the story.
Well, unfortunately, we're not going to gauge the best freshman class on what they did actually in college, right? Don't we tend to gauge what they do in the NBA?
That's what is hard about it. There's no doubt about it. Is that you look at what they end up doing in the NBA, and I just said that about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, that's what you're basing that on. For the record, that Kentucky freshman class, you guys tell me if it's good or not. Devin Booker, Tyler Eulis,
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns,
Yeah.
and Trey Lyles.
Yeah. No John Wall in there, no?
No, that was not John Wall. I'm just going by guys that were freshmen. I'm not saying they all came in that same signing class. Those are all freshmen on that Kentucky team. Those are the freshmen as listed on the roster.
On the 13-14 roster.
That Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns duo, pretty dang good.
Pretty good right there.
Yeah.
All right, so the Final Four happening this weekend just after 5 o'clock Central Time. That's right. That's correct game time.
That is correct.
Right?
5:09, I believe.
Yeah, just after 5 on CBS this weekend. Auburn and Florida go at it in the first game. And then, of course, Duke and Houston after that in prime time coming up. Taylor Korn will be anchoring our coverage coming up from San Antonio. Our show today being brought to you by our great friends at New York Butcher Shop. Those New York deli-style sandwiches waiting on you for lunch today.
Yeah, for lunch or dinner, you can stop in, get one of those great sandwiches, get it made right there at the substation. Of course, you can pick up incredible steaks, ribs, chicken, all of the fantastic meats from his great staffs. 2 locations for you. The original Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Get in, see Jim and the fine folks. They've also got a great selection of fine wines and desserts. Rare quality, well-done service. It is the New York Butcher Shop.
When you look at the most, they don't call it an MVP in the NCAA tournament. They call it the most outstanding player. There are betting odds out on who will be the MOP, the most outstanding player. Cooper Flagg is your betting favorite. Walter Clayton Jr. is next.
What's significant for Cooper Flagg is he's minus. Like, hardly ever will you get 4 teams and not get plus on one of these guys. So they're even saying to me that they believe Duke's going to win it, but even if Duke was to lose a national championship, he could still be your MOP.
Yeah, so he's got the by far the best odds, as LT's pointing out. Then I think it's Walter Clayton Jr., then Johni Broome, and then I think it's Cryer. Down the list, you can get to a Todd Pettiford. If I asked you guys, who's the MOP when it's all said and done?
I think it's Cooper Flagg.
I mean, I picked Houston to win, so if I'm correct, that's the one I don't know. I don't know
Emmanuel
if Houston
Sharp
wins, who you go
or
with. Yeah.
LJ Cryer. I would think it's one of those two.
Probably one of those two. But
Cryer has the best odds.
Yeah, it's less obvious when it's Houston. It's far more obvious if it's Auburn, Duke, or Florida that wins this thing. And keep in mind now, this is the most outstanding player of the tournament. It's not necessarily the most outstanding player of the Final Four, though they always give it to a guy in the Final Four because it's kind of weird if the guy's already back home, going to algebra, and he's not there to do the interview or get the trophy or whatever. So it's in all likelihood, it would be weird if it's Cooper Flagg and they don't win. Because it's generally presented on the stage with the confetti falling.
But the way Knippel's playing, I mean, it wouldn't blow you away if Knippel just goes off.
That's what I wanted to go to, is there another player on these teams that could be the guy? Like, could you make a case for Knippel? At some point, could it be Pettiford?
Alex Condon, yeah.
I mean, if Pettiford had, 24 in one game and then 20 in another, you'd have to start thinking about it.
Well, I was telling Tyler and Scott yesterday afternoon after the show that I think Pettiford has played his way into the NBA. And that's an unfortunate. It's great for Pettiford. He was going to be there one day anyway, but it's unfortunate for Auburn fans because I've just got this feeling he's probably going to bolt because he's going to be late first. And even if he really shows out, I mean, the stock can do nothing but go up right now for Pettiford.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see Pettiford winning. There's not really anyone else on Auburn's roster you could make a case for, I don't think. Knippel would be the only other guy on the Duke roster I think you can make a case for. You can make a case, as I said, for 2 Houston guys. I don't know who else on the Florida roster you can make a case for other than Clayton.
I mean, the Hout kid is playing really good.
I mean, I guess I'm just assuming if Florida wins, Clayton's probably going to have, 20 in one game and 21 in another or something like that.
Just what he did to get them to the Final Four, to have that miracle comeback against Texas Tech there. More basketball after we tell you about our great friends right there at mybookie.ag. If you want to go play the games, always at mybookie.ag, promo code next round. But also right there, some prop bets coming up for the weekend, and you can take a look at those as well at mybookie.ag.
Yeah, the current point spreads in the game. You can find the Duke Blue Devils a 5-point favorite over the Houston Cougars. The Auburn Tigers a 2.5-point favorite. As they take on the Florida Gators, a 2.5-point favorite as they take on the Auburn Tigers. Actually, that just ticked up to 3 as I was looking at it. So we've seen both these tick up 0.5 point throughout the course of the week. Duke up to 5 and Florida now up to a 3-point favorite over the Auburn Tigers. If you just want to bet on the winner, Duke a -103 favorite, Florida plus 275, Houston plus 420, and Auburn plus 480. All that at mybookie.ag. Code next round at mybookie.ag. When you sign on, you get that sign-on bonus. It is a 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000. You'll also get that $10 casino chip you can use right there in the casino area at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code next round. That is mybookie.ag, code next round.
All right, so more basketball coming up here in just a second. Hopefully Zep Jasper will be able to join us momentarily. We'll move on until he jumps on with us here. Do you guys remember the song Glory Days, Bruce Springsteen?
Oh, how could we forget the classic Glory Days?
Yeah,
right?
not a big Bruce Springsteen fan myself, but I do remember the song.
I love him. I do not like this song.
Oh, man, remember how
really?
cheesy the video was?
Yeah. But it was based on a real true life guy. His name was Joe DePew, passed away yesterday at the age of 75. He was the guy that Bruce Springsteen was the inspiration for Glory Days.
Do we have a little more backstory on Joe?
Joe DePew?
Apparently, he was a great baseball player
in high school.
Sat at a bar and had drinks with Bruce Springsteen and relived his glory days.
And he died at what?
I should have read the rest of the story.
He died at what age?
75.
That's a decent run.
75.
Oh, you think Bruce pays for his funeral or something like that? I mean, Bruce made a lot of money off that song.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. But it's a story in the New York Times that I did not read.
Yeah.
I didn't know I'd get a follow-up question to just that little nugget.
You're in with me now. Just read the headline. Don't read the story.
Well, no,
I do it all
no.
the time.
I just thought that was a little throwaway nugget that would get me to Zep Jasper's interview here.
Yeah.
So I didn't plan on the follow-up.
Let's go to Zep, the former Auburn Tiger, now watching his team play in the Final Four again. Zep Jasper with us on the Shunnarah Hotline. Welcome in, Zep. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing today?
Man, we're doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. Can you walk us through your emotions watching your old coach, your old coaches, all those guys were there when you were there, and your old team play their way into the Final Four Sunday? What did that do for you?
Well, I didn't shed a lot of blood and tears with a couple of those guys on that Auburn team, with a couple of those coaches, the staff, the managers, the fans. My emotion is very high right now. Everywhere I go, I'm screaming Auburn because we're the underdogs right now. But, I'm just super pumped for BP, with this being his second Final Four at Auburn, making history every single year. I'm just super excited for this team and this journey that they have been on this whole entire year.
Well, we've talked about this a bunch. We were around when Auburn basketball was, I guess we could call it kind of a laughingstock. It was the worst in the SEC. When Bruce Pearl took it over, he completely flipped the script. I mean, from a player's perspective, you played for a lot of coaches. You played at Charleston for 5 years. What makes Bruce Pearl such a good coach?
BP, he's a motivator. He's one of those guys, he give you energy. When you're down, he's going to lift you up. He's going to take you into a whole nother level. He's one of those guys, I would run through a brick wall for BP because just the emotions, the effort he puts in as a coach. Being a coach like him is incredible. Like I said, because he gives you so much energy. You see 1 through 15 guys, all he does is make his players play hard every single night to hit the court, every single practice, even in the film room, every single thing he does, he makes you go 110% in every single thing he does.
Yeah, I'm interested though when you think back to the first time you met Johni Broome. Did you know he would grow into this guy to being this big of a beast on the court?
My first time meeting Johni actually in person, I thought he would be great. Coming into the SEC, his practice is different than the OVC, but I knew he would be great. Being around the coaching staff we have, the development we bring in, I just knew it was a matter of time. And what he's been showing this year, he's the best college basketball player out, without a doubt. He's the reason he's going to go down as one of the best in Auburn history. Matter of fact, he's going to be the best player to ever come through Auburn, without a doubt.
There's been some pretty good players come through Auburn there.
Charles Barkley?
Charles Barkley was on the show earlier this week. That's a big statement.
That's a big statement. But as we talk about championships, I don't think Charles Barkley won a championship. That's my guy. But if Johni Broome wins the championship, he have no question but to be the Mount Rushmore of Auburn basketball.
Okay. I'll give you Mount Rushmore of Auburn basketball.
No,
yes.
I think we agree with Zep.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this, Johni. I mean, especially if they close the deal, Zep. I mean, if they win the national championship, I don't think there's any denying that Johni Broome is the best Auburn Tiger of all time.
Oh, no doubt. It's no denying. If he win a championship, build him a statue. They might as well get ready to build a statue. They might as well name a street the Broome Street. Because I tell you this now, if he wins a national championship, I'm just saying it right now. Y'all gonna be the first person to hear me say this. It's gonna be a street called Broome Street.
I like that. Just take a left on Broome Street to go over there by Neville Arena.
And ironically, somebody's going to have to sweep Broome Street.
Yeah,
right.
Broome Way, maybe. Broome
Way?
Avenue, Broome Street, Broome
Street?
Drive. Oh, Broome Drive. In basketball, you drive to the goal.
Yes.
Broome Drive may be the way to go.
Hey, the other guy besides Johni that you played with.
Wait, you can go way too. The Parkways, ways, Broome's Way.
Broome's Way?
Broome Way
Okay.
instead of a road.
All right.
You also played with Dylan Cardwell, and he's first of all, he's a massive dude, but watching him play, the effort, and wasn't a huge contributor when you guys played a couple of years ago, but his development and being another one of those bigs that he just seems like an all-out effort guy.
He gives 100%, 110% every single night. He's one of those guys that don't show in the stat sheet, but the effort he brings every night, the intensity he brings every night. You look at him, he guard 1 through 5. You can't name a big man in the country that can do what he does right now without scoring the basketball. He rebounds, he blocks shots, he runs the floor, he sets screens, he sets hockey assists. He just does the little things. Look at his plus minus. And another good thing about having Dylan Caldwell, having Johni at the 4, having Dylan Caldwell at the 5, having Dylan play against the best bigs, while Johni takes the back seat and guard the 4-man. So it's a gift and a curse at the same time. But Dylan has been extremely great for the team this year.
I'm interested on the Florida game back on February 8th, what you thought of that ended the 14-game win streak. And as a former player, how does that play into a rematch type situation? Do you like the fact that maybe Auburn lost that game and got a free look at Florida's best punch? Tell me how you think about that February 8th game, how it could impact on Saturday's game.
Well, that February 8th game was, it was a tough game. Coming on a 14-game winning streak. Florida's a great team. Have great big men. They got like 4 or 5 big men they can throw at Johni. I just think it was one of those games that we got wore down. They threw big man at Johni. The length affected us a little bit, but they made shots. We all know Walter Clayton is one of the best guards in the country. Matter of fact, he probably is the best guard in the country as we're speaking. But I just think it was I think it was good that we lost that game because now we get to see him. And I don't believe no team can beat Auburn 2 times in a row. I don't care what the analytics say. We're underdogs, but I just can't see it. A team beating Auburn twice. It's no way.
Zep Jasper is with us, former Auburn guard. You can see him with Kyle Rush, thebarnauburn.com, part of the Auburn Basketball podcast there with Kyle. Zep joins him frequently. You can see that at thebarnauburn.com or go to the Barn Auburn YouTube page. How do you think Auburn defends him, Zep, when you look at what Auburn did the last time against Clayton and now that he might be the best player playing in the tournament? What does Auburn throw at him, do you think?
Well, Walter Clayton is going to get his shots. He's going to make his shots. It's just about us shutting those other guys down, making guys who don't do much try to do as much as they can. We all know they have great bigs, but Elijah Martin having him score under his balance, having Hall score under his balance. I just think make guys score. But we all know Walter Clayton is going to get his. It's just he turns it on when he wants to turn it on. As we all know, he scores the basketball when it counts. In this tournament, he has scored in every single team. But the one thing I can say is Auburn guards play defense. We get in your chest. We guard you full court pressure. I just think with BP and his mindset, I think we will have a better strategy than what we had the first game.
Okay. Zep Jasper, enjoy the game, Zep. We appreciate the time, and thanks for helping us break it down a little bit.
Oh, no doubt. Thank y'all.
All right, buddy. Take care. Zep Jasper with us on the Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. They bring you the hotline. The Shunnarah Hotline brought you Zep Jasper. I am told by my friend Ryan that there was a tattoo on Johni Broome's leg that says Nightmare on Broome Street. So Broome Street already has.
Wow, Nightmare on Broome Street.
I can't verify that. I have not seen it. I'm just
pretty
told.
impressive. He deciphered that tattoo.
Yeah.
And it turns into a really good fraternity sorority crush party location. We can have Nightmare on Broome Street now. It would be a party location. They would just block the street off and have a get together, a live band or something. All right, time to clean up a little dead wood here. Not just me botching Zep Jasper's name.
With him waiting to come on the show.
Zep Jasper, not easy for me to say. That's just one piece of dead wood we're cleaning up today, LT.
It is brought to you by our friends at Gray's Tree Service, family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. They are the experts in high-risk tree removals, the pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen the trees and plants. John, Mark, and the guys are out grinding stumps. They removed a couple of trees just last week when I was out of town. Had to extract the 4 pines back in the summer. Just do an incredible business, trusted by nearly every golf course in town and the Birmingham Zoo. There's no competition. Call 205-281-6100. That's 205-281-6100. Or you can always go online, graystree.com.
My dead wood is Adrian Woolley, the kid from Bryant High School in Tuscaloosa, Kennesaw State. Starting back in January through February, into March, and even in Newark, I kept telling people, watch the kid come back to Tuscaloosa. He's gonna be in crimson and white next year. It's red and white. He's at Louisville. It's not crimson and white.
Close.
But I was really shocked that this kid didn't end up for Nate Oates' Crimson Tide, leaving Kennesaw State at 18 points. I got that one wrong. That's
well,
my
you
dead
never
wood
know
today.
what people are paying, and there are some programs that are going to pay more than others, obviously. But some of these kids, maybe they just want to play out of state.
I know Michael Brown's a big recruit going to Louisville. He's a top 10 player. He's part of this class. And then yesterday, to go with Woolley, they got Xavier guard Ryan Conwell. So 3 big backcourt additions for Pat Kelsey's Louisville team, which is on the up. On the come up.
Future bright. ACC needs this. I mean, we had 3 teams in the tournament, Louisville, Clemson, and obviously Duke still playing basketball. But it was an embarrassing year for the ACC.
It was.
Now, I think they can clean it up. If Duke wins this thing, I think we will quickly forget how down the ACC was.
I don't know if I'm cleaning up deadwood for CBSSports.com on the story you gave us earlier about the Kentucky signing class, the best freshman class of all time, or the recruiting industry. I don't know which. But do you know that Kentucky class wasn't even the top-ranked class in the nation that year? The one that might be considered the greatest of all time?
Was it Duke?
It was Duke.
Yeah.
You want to hear who was in the Duke class?
They're mentioned in the story, too.
That same class?
Yeah.
Jalil Okafor, Tyus Jones, Justice Winslow, and Grayson Allen. It's a pretty good class. I can see why they were number 1.
Yeah, I'd take the Kentucky one over them, though.
I think I would. Okafor was the number 1 player in the nation that year.
Well, they won the national championship as freshmen.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you get the number 1 player in the nation, you're probably going to have pretty close to the top signing.
Yeah, and let's not forget, I mean, Grayson Allen in that second half against Wisconsin in the national championship, that won them the game.
When we come back, we will do our 4 downs today, but we're about to do, and we'll also talk, let you hear from Kirby Smart. Unbelievable sound from Kirby Smart. We'll get into that coming up as the show progresses. But right now, Tyler, if we can do the college football spotlight, it's brought to you every day by our friends at Alexander Shunnarah. It's the Shunnarah Spotlight. Tyler.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shunnarah Spotlight presented by Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. If you're in need of an attorney, start with Alexander Shunnarah. You pay nothing unless they win your case. They have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alex's core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. Shunnarah.com is the website. Shunnarah.com.
A couple of $1 billion from Shunnarah. Maybe Jeremy Pruitt should call Shunnarah. That lawsuit's our focal point today. Jeremy Pruitt suing Tennessee for $100 million in lost wages. Now, this came out at the end of last week. Basically, he's saying Tennessee and the legal team at Tennessee conspired to make him the fall guy. He hasn't coached since January 2021. The NCAA hit him with heavy penalties, show causes that can't keep him from working in college football altogether. And he says that he, when he got to Tennessee, went to athletic director, former head coach Phil Fulmer, and reported to Fulmer violations that were being done, illegal payments to players, and that he didn't want to run the program that way. And that he went to Phil Fulmer and alerted to him on some things that were going on that needed to be cleaned up. Fulmer said, according to the allegation in the lawsuit from Pruitt, I'll take care of it. And he ends up being the fall guy, he says, and he wants lost wages. First off, What do you think of that? Second off, do you think Jeremy Pruitt ever coaches in college again?
Okay, so this is he said. Unless you're going to record it, we're never going to know. But going after $100 million, what that tells me is he thinks he was going to be a high-end head coach. And I don't think we can ever prove that because the track record says Jeremy Pruitt was not a very good head coach. Now, I think wages lost, factor in $2 million a year, he's a really good defensive coordinator. So this is going to be one of those things. He's not going to get $100 million. He's going to end up getting $10 to $15 million.
Yeah, I asked for 100 to get 20. Yeah.
And will he coach again? Yes. I mean, like I look at the guys that are coaching right now and some of the things that have happened. So, like, the talent's going to outweigh it. Will he ever be a head coach again? I'm not sure about that. Will definitely be a defensive coordinator again, I believe.
Yeah, I think this is probably the old, I'm going to ask for $100 million. NCAA probably does not want to litigate this. Tennessee certainly does not want them to litigate this.
Because that opens up a lot of
that's right.
on-the-record stuff.
That is right. The old discovery process probably is not what Tennessee would want. So if you're the NCAA, you do have to protect your institution there, right? The Tennessee is an NCAA institution. So you've got to have their best interest in mind, too. I don't think the NCAA would want to litigate this. I don't think Tennessee would want them to. So there's probably a number where this thing never sees a courtroom. Jeremy Pruitt, is probably allowed to coach again. He walks away with, $10 million. His attorney walks away with $10 million, and the NCAA doesn't have, and Tennessee don't have to get embarrassed.
He instantly becomes a defensive coordinator somewhere and starts making $2 million.
Yeah.
I mean, if you needed a defensive coordinator, pick up the phone, you call Nick Saban, hey, tell me about Jeremy Pruitt as a defensive coordinator. Do you not think the endorsement would be high?
He'd have been my last defensive coordinator in Tuscaloosa if they'd let me hire him, is what Nick Saban would say.
Yeah. Well, I really do believe if you look at – Kirby's hard to gauge just because of the success he's had as a head coach. But if you look back at just defensive coordinators, Jeremy Pruitt might be his best.
Well, I've had a lot of Alabama people say that they, as great as Kirby was, they feel like Pruitt was actually the better of the two.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
And I would say this, and I'm not speaking for people you guys have talked to, the belief was Jeremy was a little bit more aggressive in defensive play calling than Kirby was.
And was a little more simplified. Like, the Nick Saban, Kirby Smart defense can be very complex, and Pruitt was able to simplify it a little bit and allow guys to react more than think.
Somebody would insert an asparagus joke in
Correct,
right here.
They would.
To keep it simple.
Yeah.
We'll never live that down.
We will never live it down. As much success as
was
he
that
had as a
legitimate,
coordinator.
you think?
I think it was set up for the show.
Asparagus? What's that?
And he fell for it.
You think so?
I think they told him.
Now, what would be awesome, because self-deprecation, we're all about that.
Yeah, sure.
If next time we have Jeremy Pruitt on, he's probably on a gag order until everything's settled. But we have him on and ask him if he truthfully said, look, I really didn't know what the hell asparagus was.
Yeah, hard to believe.
Is he still the head coach at Rainsville?
I don't think he's the head coach, is he?
I thought he was.
I don't think there's a lot of asparagus in Rainsville. I know one guy from Rainsville. Outside of Jeremy Pruitt,
he was with the Giants. My apologies. He left that Rainsville job and went to the Giants.
Yeah, I thought he was just PE teacher and was helping.
I guess. I don't know. I thought
that's explainable. That's not Buzz Williams leaving A&M to go to Maryland, right? Yeah. You leave Rainsville to go to the New York Giants.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Yeah, actually, I think he's at Plainview. So let me clean up some deadwood for the second go around here. I think he was at Plainview.
All right, that's our Shunnarah Spotlight today, Brownie.
Shunnarah.com. That's where you start. Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com.
All right. When we come back, NFL rule changes and our 4 downs today. And we got to mention the Braves. We'll do that when we come back right here on the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now with code NEXTROUND and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway, is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Really great Final Four conversations with Charles Barkley, Stephen Pearl, and Seth Greenberg earlier this week. You can get that wherever you get our podcast, Apple and Spotify, and also on the YouTube channel. Auburn leaving the reverse Tiger Walk less than an hour away, and you can follow us on social media. We'll have some of that for you. That Four show will be kicking out a little bit later on at Next Round Live, and just a great basketball coverage. You heard Seth Greenberg mention that earlier, just the job that Forrester and Taylor do all the time with the content at Next Round Live on all of our social media platforms. But basketball season to another level this year, so appreciate what Taylor and Forrester have done for the basketball fans all year long. Some football stuff here in this segment, including the NFL new rules. We're going to run through them and see which ones we liked or disliked. Brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. We'll be hot and cold on some of these. Hot and cold is the weather. 87 today and sunny. I don't see the sun out there, but it's hot out there today.
Yeah, so AC was on yesterday. Last night was able to flick it off. Had to flick it back on this morning. I mean, up and down. I've got the guys coming out next week to give me the AC update and make sure everything's ready to roll for the entire summer. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. They are awaiting your call. Tell them the Next Round sent you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And here is the Johni Broome tattoo.
Damn, that had to hurt, man. That's on the shin.
Yeah. Nightmare on Broome Street, the leg tattoo.
Chad Baker couldn't have got that one done.
Yep. So there you go.
Done enough ankle for him.
Yeah.
too skinny. Nightmare on Broome Street, so you got to stick with Broome Street.
Yeah, it'd have to be lowercase on my leg too in order to get it on there. That's interesting. I can never make out what everybody's tattoos say. To be honest,
it looks
with
like
you.
he's got like a Freddy Krueger picture on like the inside of his calf.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he may be a big fan of that franchise.
He might be.
Yeah. So
the street, like the abbreviation, you only got like half the T, no period.
Well, I ran out of room. I got to his foot.
The Brad who writes in says other basketball terms that they use for road names: Broome Pass and Broome Court. They actually call them courts.
Broome Court. Yeah, I like Broome Court.
It's not bad. Yeah.
There you go. Maybe would that be a circle?
Most of the time, I think a court is a circle, but you could probably get around
when
that.
you guys look back, I do think that Broome is going to be immortalized on that campus.
Yeah.
Bruce Pearl obviously is going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I
think
think all due respect to the Nevils.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I think you're to the point you could name the arena for him, except for the fact that one family gave a bundle of money for you to name the arena for them. But you certainly could put his name on the court. Bruce Pearl Court. Nobody's name's on the court at Auburn, right? I don't know who it would be.
No.
I think bare minimum you put his name on the court. Bruce Pearl Court at Auburn Arena.
Yeah, I think Oates is getting close to that.
He is, but I mean, it is a definitive with Pearl. There's not a coach that comes anywhere close to the success.
Yeah, because we still will talk about Wimp and CM Newton and some of the coaches that have had really good success. But yeah, I mean, Bruce Pearl, it is night and day.
It's his own neighborhood.
And I think it's safe to say that he is I'm just talking about basketball and football. And as good as Pat Dye was, he is the greatest coach in Auburn history.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
They should do it before next season. In fact, Bruce Pearl
while he's still coaching.
Yeah,
Coach K. Yeah, they did Coach K. Coral while he was still coaching.
Pat Summit, they did that too. All right, to football in the NFL. These are the rule changes. Do you like it, not like it, and react to it, please? 6 cameras in every NFL stadium. 8K. I didn't know we even had 8K.
I've never seen it. We've got it.
Yeah, these are 8K cameras, 6 of them in every stadium that will provide Hawkeye technology to spot the football on every play to make sure it's spotted correctly and help us with first downs.
Yep.
You like it, dislike it?
Love it.
I got no problem with it, yeah. And the 8K, I've been teased into believing that we really could get that because if you go to one of these big box shops that has TVs, they've got the computer program that is in 8K.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy hell, they can't get any better than that, but you can't really watch any of the programming in it.
I mean, I think you guys, for the nostalgia, kind of like the old men with the chains, we're not losing those. They'll still stay there.
I do want those.
They're going to stay there, but we're really not going to use them. They're just kind of there for backup, I guess, until we make sure this thing works right.
Again, I think it's important if I'm running the football to be able to see that, to know where I sort of need to get.
Yeah, you could do that with one dude just holding the marker.
But can't you have the dramatic moment of the chains, and then after the chain's measured, we're going to have to review the chain measurement.
Yeah, let's stop it more.
Well, the Hawkeye review is going to take up to 40 seconds less than the chain gain review.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, that'll be. But they do plan on in the stadium and on the broadcast have the animation like we've seen in the UFL and like we see in tennis, where it'll come up and it will show where the ball is and the first down marker, and it will have some drama to it to show it. So,
you ever worked the chains in a high school game?
Yeah, I did it one time.
I did too. One time I got
never done it.
Got roped into, and I was I don't know what they call it, the clip guy is what they call it. The guy that.
Oh, well, I did that 2 times if you're counting that.
No,
that's the hardest job.
That's the worst job. I thought it was the best job. They're like, you just be the clip guy. I was like, oh, okay, that's the one I want.
But the most important part of that job is not getting the measurement right. It's not getting run over, right?
That is correct. Staying the crap out of the way.
You got to wait until they get the chains pulled, and then you clip it on the main yard line.
That's right.
So like is it more complicated than the average person would believe?
No, it is very easy.
No, it's easy. It's every time they move the chain, you've got to unclip that and then clip it down on the main yard line.
Because the first chain, that is the new line of scrimmage, the ref comes in and plants his foot and tells you where to put the mark. You don't have to guess.
Yeah.
Like the refs, he's like, put it right here, and you put it on the heel of his foot. Yeah. And then the other guy just stretches however far the chain goes.
Yep. And then wherever it crosses the next main yard line,
that's where you clip.
Put the clip.
That way, when they come and grab it, they put the clip on that that main yard line out on the field and do the measurement. So you've really got the most important job.
That's right. The sticks don't work without the clip guy.
And by the way, if you've got a fast-paced offense, about the time you get the clip good and clipped in and ready to go. They've picked up another first down, and you unclip it and run it right down the field again.
Makes no sense.
It sucks.
So good exercise?
I mean, I guess. It was boring. I hated it. I would never do it again.
I did it one time.
Yeah.
And then the thing I wanted to do the next time was the front end of the chain that put it down
by the ref's foot.
With the ref's foot.
So would you rather
That's
do
a mindless job?
that?
I know. Boom, right there.
Or behind the plate calling balls and strikes?
I enjoyed calling balls and strikes. I did that for a long time.
Yeah, that just gets a little dicey depending on who's pitching.
Well, no, it's more dicey.
Or who's catching.
Who's catching.
Yes.
Because I did a lot of 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old baseball. And you know what the catcher rarely does? Is catch the ball. You catch it in the balls more than he catches the balls.
Did you ever piss anybody off bad enough where they did a pitch out and pitcher just took it straight down the middle?
It was never to that level, no. But also hard in 9, 10, and some 11 and 12-year-old is the fastballs don't always come like this. You get a lot of this kind of pitching, and you're sort of having to judge where it was in the strike zone because the catcher may catch it here and it may have entered here. It's
I mean, do you have
looks like a strike? And you're like, it's sort of
it's up at his
a little
nose.
high when it came by him.
I don't know if it's different nowadays, but we always had one or two like heavily intoxicated parents in the stands.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had any of those come after you?
Oh, I don't do it anymore, but back in the day, I think public intoxication was a lot more popular than it is now.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the most traumatic moments of my childhood. A guy came after my dad once when my dad was the coach. All-star team. I was playing first, and we were in the first base dugout.
Damn, Randy's a big guy, too.
He is a big guy, but alcohol do a lot of things
and
to
make you
Lance.
really big.
Yeah.
Replay assistance on these plays now. They will be able to help the replay assist, I should say, be able to help the officials in the NFL on defenseless players, face mask, horse collar, tripping, and kick penalties. They're adding that to the list of being able to, they catch or no catches can be a quick call now. In or out can be a quick call now with assists. You can help with all of these now. This is off the Patrick Mahomes playoff play where he was ruled defenseless, I think, and it was a penalty, and the referee threw it from behind the flag. The replay official would be able to replay assist and say, no, he didn't actually hit him. There was no contact.
Yeah.
That was the Texans-Chiefs playoff game.
That is correct.
But they can't go back.
Play.
And I think it was on Toa Toa.
But they can't go back and see that and be like, oh, that was a horse collar. I don't think
so. They can't add a penalty. They can only undo a penalty.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I'm okay with that.
Me too. Anything to get it right.
And fast.
Yeah, kickoff into the end zone, through the end zone, not to the 30 this year. It's out to the 35.
Feels too easy for the NFL.
Yeah, 35 does seem too easy. I heard Troy Vincent talking about player safety yesterday, and he grew up, only played 1 year high school football and was a returner at Wisconsin for Barry Alvarez and the Badgers. And he talked about, we've got to figure out, because he's still part of the Players Association, a way to get, they called it the foot, that phase, offense, defense, the foot, that has got to be still a major factor when it comes to playing the game of football.
Because it's football.
Yeah, so they were like, there is nothing worse than when guys would kick it off and 11 guys would just immediately just walk off the field. It's become such a non-factor in football, and they want to do it, and they obviously want to include safety, but they got to figure this out because it never felt right.
It didn't, and they're doing it for player safety, but now penalizing you for kicking it out of the end zone and bringing it out to the 35 is trying to enhance you of kicking it into the return zone.
That's it.
Which is going to do what? It's going to make more returns, which is going to increase the injuries. Or they're chasing their tail on this.
Or are they trying to encourage you to, in the NFL, help me remember, a fair catch in the return zone, is that a touchback or do you have to return it?
It's a touchback.
So if I fair catch it in the return zone.
Yeah, I think you get it at the 20.
Is that the 20?
It's a different yard line, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the 20. And then this is the best one. The playoff overtime rule now comes to the regular season.
It's got to be universal. It's the dumbest thing. It's like our playoffs are so much more important than our regular season. You got to have it universal.
But the reason they changed it was TV times. We don't want an overtime dragging on in the early window that is bleeding over into the late window, because the late window is where we put our premium game.
Yeah, but at the same time, you would have the option to maybe push that back 5 or 10 minutes, or because of the way Sunday Ticket is set up on YouTube TV, You can stick with a game. You can switch it over. I mean,
keep in mind, though, I think this is still the case. Now, I'm on Sunday Ticket, so I don't necessarily watch this. But if I've got a CBS game that goes into overtime and it bleeds over into the Fox window, they have to take me away from that game, don't they? They can't show me the end of the game. Used to. So not if it's my game. All right, let me back up. My game is ended on CBS. We're going to get you out to Miami and Kansas City. It's in overtime. And it bleeds over across the start of the Fox kickoff. If you have sent me to that game, they have to end the game there, and I have to go to Fox. I think that's the way the rule works. Does that make sense what I just said?
Yeah, but you can still go back on Sunday Ticket.
If you have Sunday Ticket.
If you have Sunday Ticket, because of the Heidi situation, right?
Yeah. I would say this. Are they saying no ties? Because that is the playoff overtime rule. That we don't end in ties.
Yeah,
that would be part of it.
Which is, again, why they changed it for TV purposes.
So we're not playing the 10-minute overtime now?
I would think that you'll still time it, but then you would go into an additional overtime.
Okay.
Which becomes sudden death at that point, right?
See, I thought it was just the playoff where both offenses get one drive.
Yeah.
I thought we still could have ties.
I don't know.
I think I read.
I mean, if we're changing it to the playoff format, then we shouldn't have ties. That's the way I read it, but you might be right.
I think we still have ties in the regular season.
The problem is, in the 10-minute playoff window, the team that wins the toss and gets the ball starts to milk clock.
Yeah, you can bleed the entire
you
thing.
can almost end overtime. And then in the event you score, then it is over if you score a touchdown. But even if you bleed clock and kick a field goal.
Those are the rule changes from the NFL that will go into play this year. Before we do 4 downs, tell us about our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, Jim. Thank you. I will. Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pearl City. Absolutely fantastic business here, locally owned for over 20 years. Andrea and Greg Nelson, they own the company. You see them in the lower left there with Chunky Jim. They're there to help you with the most important part of your life, right? Your home. They protect your family. And that's what it's all about, that roof over your head. It is so important, and Greg keeps that roof strong for you, keeps it up to date, and keeps it healthy for the duration of your house. He'll give you a free no-cost roof inspection. He handles full roof replacements, roofing repairs. Even when you have storm damage, he can repair that with his building license as well. He is the best in the business. He is trustworthy. He's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. He is Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, 542-3531. Keep that number on standby because we will have some violent storms many times in the spring and summertime coming up here in the South, and Greg can help you out. Great relationships with insurance providers. That's going to help you as well. But just start with the free, no-cost, no-obligation roof inspection. Call Greg, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City. And 4 Downs brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
If you cannot decide between sweet and savory when it comes to breakfast, I got good news for you. You don't have to decide anymore. You can go to Bojangles and get both sweet and savory with your breakfast. Tell me this doesn't sound incredible. The Bojangles Signature Cajun Filet, drizzled with a bowberry glaze, sandwiched between warm waffles. It's the new chicken and bowberry waffles. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
First down.
The Braves' Austin Riley, 28 years old today.
You know what you need to get him for his birthday?
New bat? A torpedo bat?
A torpedo bat.
Ultimately better career, Austin Riley or Riley Green?
I was listening to Riley Green on the way to work today. He has become...
It's amazing. He
told us last year at our Coca-Cola interview room, as we did an interview, that his new album coming out, he thought it was going to be a big deal.
Well, the trajectory of his career, I mean, you guys remember him when he was just a local guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, when he was in Jacksonville, Alabama.
But he had some success, but he hinted that this new album was about to take him to a new level, and he has entered a new level.
Yes.
And all due respect with Austin Riley, who's really, really good, I think Riley Green's going to end up having a better career than Austin Riley.
I think he could be, at one point in his career, the preeminent male country music artist. He could be. I'm not saying he will be, but he's got that potential.
I don't know enough about country music, but I would think that his looks probably are half the battle for him.
It doesn't hurt. He sings songs people like. I mean, that's what it.
He's found his lane. Slot in the industry.
Yeah. Now, I would say your preeminent male country music artist right now is Morgan Wallen, and they are contemporaries. So I don't know how Riley Green would bump Morgan Wallen off that, but I mean, he'll be up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have to kill the king to make a lot of money, and he's very popular.
Yeah.
So.
But Austin Riley, all it takes is another big year or two.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, I'm not saying it's an easy answer.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm going to go Riley Green.
Second down.
And by the way, Riley Green ain't 0-6 right now.
He is not.
Pedro,
he doesn't need a torpedo
Pedro
bat.
Pascal is 50 years old. If I ask you best role for Pedro Pascal,
You'll have to remind me of his
Viper
roles.
from Game of Thrones.
I agree.
By the way,
One of
MLB
the
Network,
best
there's my
episodes of
seats.
TV ever.
Oh, is that what you said?
It was a top 5 episode all time, but the way he played the Viper, like, you have to find a way to extend that and like do Mountain versus Viper in another couple of seasons because this character was way too good. But, you know, the massive weight of unbearable talent, he was really good in that. The Last of Us, he's been fantastic in that. Narcos. I mean, everything this guy touches right now is gold.
Yeah, Narcos is unbelievable.
The only time I've watched Narcos is the most random thing, and these two are going to remember it, Tyler. We were in South Beach for Alabama-Oklahoma 2018 college football playoffs. And I guess it was... Yeah, that was the 18 playoffs. Yeah, we were in South Beach, started the 19. We went to a speakeasy in South Beach that had been recommended to us. Taylor Hicks was there with some other people from Birmingham, and Taylor called us. He's like, come to the speakeasy. So we go to the speakeasy. You got to use the code word to get through the door.
He's got a VIP area.
Yeah, Taylor's got a VIP area. So we go in there, and there's 3 TVs behind the bar. Sporting events? Nope. Continuous loop of Narcos. Like...
But you know what?
I'd stay in there for a while.
No volume.
Just hang out.
No volume. You're just watching Narcos.
But it made sense.
Yeah, it did. It kind of fit. I don't know why it fit, but it was the most random thing.
And basically, it was just like a decoration. You couldn't hear it.
Nope.
Music was playing.
Yep. I mean, you had club music playing.
You had pool, billiards going on, darts going on, lots of drinking, some dancing.
Lots dancing, and Narcos playing.
But Narcos on all the screens.
Yeah. It was very bizarre.
Yeah.
Seems like a fever dream, honestly. So
Third down.
I had the fever dream the next morning.
Zach Bryan is 29 years old. Ultimately better career, Zach Bryan or Bryan Adams?
I think already. You're talking about Bryan Adams, summer of '69?
Yeah.
Oh, I think already Zach Bryan. I can never remember a craze where everyone had to go to an arena to see Bryan Adams.
I mean, the Cuts Like a Knife, the summer of '69.
What's the one he did for the movie?
Everything I Do, I Do for You.
That was a huge
That
hit.
was number 1 in like 20 countries.
Yeah.
All hits, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I think the craze to go see Zach Bryan, and we'll see if it continues this summer. I have no reason for it not to think it is. Last summer, it was one of the hottest tickets out there.
Are you back on Zach Bryan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he and Bree are done, though.
Zach and Bree are done.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah, I think I would probably go Zach Bryan.
I think I'm going to go Bryan Adams.
Ultimately, I mean, Zach Bryan's got a lot of career left in front of him.
Yeah.
It's just going to be so different now because, you know, you would judge Bryan Adams on albums sold. You don't sell albums anymore, so...
I'm trying to remember
I don't even know how we'd measure that.
He sold out a football stadium just recently.
Who's Zach Bryan? Wasn't it Nissan Stadium
was it Nissan?
In Nashville?
I couldn't remember if it was Nissan or if it was like Lucas Oil.
Maybe it was. I don't know. I mean, he's immensely popular.
But he's about to go into
I don't think there was ever
venues.
There was never a time in Bryan Adams' career where he could sell out a stadium. You'd give me that, right?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Ooh, I don't think so.
Like a football stadium?
Yeah, Bryan Adams, Nissan Stadium in Nashville.
I mean, he's won 131 awards, 225 nominations, including Grammys, Academy Awards. I mean...
So if we want to compare streams to album sales, the current metric used right now is 1,300 streams equals 1 physical album sale. So they still measure album sales.
So, but that's the translation.
Yeah, that's the conversion rate.
Okay, so
1,300 streams is what you said is one album sale. Okay.
So do the math then. It looks like Bryan Adams has sold. This is a shit ton of albums.
Yeah, I bet. It was the big house, Forrester says. It was the big house that Zach Bryan sold out.
It was the big house.
He's right about that.
Yeah, Michigan, Ann Arbor.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
That's over 100,000 people, I'm told.
Yeah.
I mean, this one
quiet,
single
quieter than you would think.
sold 15 million copies, one single. So I don't know. I don't know. He sold a lot.
Compare these two.
He sold 100 million records.
Oh, so
a lot of streams.
let's see, that'd be 100 million times 1,300 to measure that.
I don't need to. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you want me to look at Zach Bryan streams right now?
Well, I don't think it's going to be this. Do you know how big a number we're talking about here, Jim? 1,300 times 100 million?
He's had 25 top 15 singles.
Yeah, but he's not doing it anymore.
Well, I mean, Zach could get hit by a bus today.
So
That's
Zach
130.
Bryant,
That's 130 billion is what I've got here. Is that right? No, 130 trillion.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Yeah, I don't
happen.
think he's going to get to 130
I
trillion
remember
streams.
everything is 1 billion by itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've got Zach Bryan at about 13 billion streams, 13.8 billion.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go to get to 130 trillion.
Yeah, but
I think we've got a bad conversion there.
Am I going to stop listening to Something in the Orange at 1.2 billion?
No, but I think what we're finding is this is a faulty conversion. There's no way that conversion makes sense.
I mean, that's how Spotify pays out
Yeah.
for artists.
Yeah, I don't.
That's how Billboard calculates album sales for their charts.
She's an Oklahoma smoke show. I'm an asshole from back home.
If only Maggie were from Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Brilliant lyrics right there.
At least half of it. That is 4 downs today.
No, that was only third.
That's only 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
4th down.
Val Kilmer unfortunately passes away at the
such
age
sad
of
news.
65
Yeah, I
years
woke up to that
old.
news this morning. So sad.
I probably know the answer, but I've asked you let's just go the best movie that he's been a big part of.
I would still say, and I know why you changed it, because you thought we were all going to say Doc Holliday and Tombstone, but I happen to think Tombstone's also the best movie he was in. So I'm gonna say both. I know Forrester. I saw Forrester this morning say, Scott, I don't want to overstate what you said, but you said one of the single greatest roles in cinema history, basically. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday.
I said that I couldn't think off the top of my head somebody who had nailed a role better than he nailed Doc Holliday.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing, like the critics never looked at it because of the other parts of the movie. It was just, I mean, it was too hokey. I mean, I like Tombstone. I own Tombstone.
Yeah.
But like if that would have been part of Unforgiven or part of even Wyatt Earp, I think he probably not only gets nominated, there's a good chance he wins an Academy Award, but I think the best film he's ever been in is Heat from 1995.
Yeah, he is incredible in Heat.
Yeah, with a ponytail.
Yeah, one of the, maybe a lot of people say greatest shootout scene of all time.
Oh, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Ghost in the Darkness was interesting with Michael Douglas, where he was, where they had to protect, where they were building, I don't want to butcher this historically, because 1923's kind of got the same storyline with the guy that's coming back to Montana right now. But he basically was the guy that was hunting the lines that were killing all of the track workers.
A lot of people say his portrayal of Jim Morrison in the Doors movie was fantastic. I've never seen that movie.
I have.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how Jim Morrison. When I think of Jim Morrison, that's who I think
of. Val Kilmer?
He killed it, and that's.
Did he sing his own? People are saying he sang his own stuff in that.
He ended up getting a divorce. Like you've seen the documentary on Val, but he went so into character on Jim Morrison, and he was dating or married to Joanne Wiley Kilmer, who was an actress in herself. She ended up, I guess, getting the divorce because he was so immersed in that role. I thought Jason Patrick was going to get the role just because he looked just like Jim Morrison. But I tell you, man, he crushed that role.
Zach says The Saint, an underrated action movie he's in.
Never saw it with Elizabeth Shue.
Royal Payne says Real Genius.
Yeah.
Charles says Ghost in the Darkness.
I liked him in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but that's probably a cheesy movie that nobody likes.
You know, here's the thing about Val Kilmer.
Robert Downey Jr.
The role that introduced me to Val Kilmer was Iceman in Top Gun. That's the first time I'd ever seen him.
Yep.
And I kind of thought then, I didn't respect his acting. I thought he was just a cheesy actor because he was playing a cheesy character. That shows you how good an actor he is.
Well,
right?
yeah, I mean, he's Juilliard. I mean, this is a guy that is classically trained.
Like Iceman was a cheeseball, right? I mean, he was a guy that was trying to be
the movie's cheesy.
Well, Top Gun?
Yeah.
It may be, but it's a great movie.
Right. I mean, it's like Tombstone. I mean, it's cheesy, but it's a great movie.
See, I think you guys care way too much what critics think. Critics don't know what they're talking about.
No, when you like pull out that smoke wagon, and I mean,
it's a great movie. If I like the movie, it's a great movie to me, right?
Well, I like the movie
about a Steamboat Willie going
true.
on a murder
I don't know
rampage.
why I
I
listen
don't
to you.
care what the critics say.
I like Gremlins. Gremlins was a good movie.
Oh, Gremlins is awesome.
That is 4 downs.
Brought to you today by our friends at Bojangles.
Yeah, you don't have to choose anymore between sweet and savory at breakfast. Bojangles has both for you right now. The chicken and Bowberry waffles. Signature chicken, Cajun chicken filet with Bowberry glaze sandwich between warm waffles, available for a limited time. It's bow time.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com can help you out. Leslie and her board-certified team will absolutely explain everything to you with a free consultation on how you can jumpstart your weight loss. They have injection therapy. They have meal replacements. They have protein bars that can help you and so much more. It's our friends at Way to Wellness. No contracts, no sign-up fees. And she's able to, with her board-certified team, change your life. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and Bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
It's getaway hour for Auburn basketball down on campus. Reverse Tiger Walk starts in about 23 minutes or so, and they will go wheels up to San Antonio at 12 noon. And they'll be out there after a practice today. Again, Johni Broome sitting practice today. He'll get back on the court tomorrow, and then the open practice on Friday. So that's still, there's no question he's playing, right? I'm exactly 100% about this. He is playing in Saturday's game. They're just treating him and resting him to have him as close to 100% as possible.
I would love to know how he felt on Monday. Just because, it was such an awkward fall, and it looked like it was hyperextended immediately when he went down, but he was able to come back in. But obviously he was favoring one arm to the other, and you just wonder how much more sore it was Monday. I mean, Steven told us no structural damage. They said you can go in. He didn't even get the opportunity to tell him, check in for Dylan. With that said, you just don't know how sore it is. Obviously, there's not going to be any damage.
That was the funniest part of the story, the way Stephen Pearl told us the story yesterday, is Broome literally had just walked out and said, "Coach, I'm good if you need me." And he said, "I can't even say a word before Cardwell's raising his hand to check out."
And he goes straight in.
All right, I guess go ahead.
Thank God Broome's back.
Yes, I am gassed.
I can't breathe. Cannot breathe.
By the way, Dylan is massive, but he looks bigger than 6'10" and 270 or 80 pounds, does he not?
No, he is.
He looks like the biggest player on the court every time I see him.
He is put together really well, too. There's no body fat on that guy. He's the nicest guy in the world. Champy's Chicken brings you this hour. Champy's world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and check out Sterling and the crew there. That cooked-to-order chicken comes out piping hot every time. We don't talk enough about the other stuff. I know that the hand-cut chicken fingers are so good. He chops them up right there. The po' boys sandwiches are so good there, but the fried chicken's the calling card. The sides, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's a destination lunch location, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Fantastic movement on the betting line for Auburn. MyBookie.ag. Brown updated us on that earlier. Brownie, what's that betting line movement?
Well, Florida's up to a 3-point favorite now. So when we first started talking about this on Monday's show, Duke was a 4.5-point favorite over the Houston Cougars, and Florida was a 2.5-point favorite over the Auburn Tigers. Both those have ticked up half a point. I mean, Lance, half a point is far from a significant point spread movement, but it is indicative that the public is a little more in love with Duke and Florida in this situation.
Well, it could be public money. It could be professional money.
So sharp versus layman is
Could
what you're
be,
saying
yeah.
there. Yeah, Duke's still a minus 103 favorite. Florida plus 275. Houston plus 420. Auburn plus 480. That is to cut the nets down. People were asking me for the Player of the Year odds. Those are down now. So I think they've taken all the betting they're going to take on that.
Would you feel good? How would you play if you played a two-team tease on these two games Saturday? Would you tease Duke to a pick? Would you tease Houston up to plus 10? And on the other side, would you feel more comfortable with Auburn plus the 8 or Florida plus 2?
I think I would tease Houston up to plus 10 because 10 points in that game is a lot of points. Way those two defenses
I think I would tease both dogs
up.
Yeah. I think I would take Auburn plus 8 and Houston plus 10.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
Hard to imagine either one of these being blowouts.
I don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah. Normally, I'm just throwing this out there. It seems like there's one really good semifinal game, and then the other one is kind of a dud.
Yeah.
You can play them all at mybookie.ag. Code next round. When you sign on at mybookie.ag, get a 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000 when you use code next round. Also, a $10 casino chip gets thrown in there for you at mybookie.ag. Code next round. That is mybookie.ag. Code next round.
I think in our friendship agreement, I can say that I do believe if there is a blowout, it would be Duke-Houston. I can say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think the potential of a blowout to me is greater of Duke blowing Houston
Well,
out.
I would say this. I think 10-plus is a blowout over Houston.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But double-digit win in either one of these games, I'm going to put them in a blowout category.
We're just so used to Duke winning games by 20.
Yeah.
But if they were to win this game by 10, I think that would classify it as a blowout.
And I guess that's why in my head that I could picture Duke winning in a blowout because I've seen it in person with the win over Alabama, but I've seen it so many times this year with, 20-plus win games this year, 22. So you're used to seeing that. So I guess that's why I can't imagine it happening in the Florida-Auburn game, and I can't imagine Houston doing it to Duke.
I think there's only one team, though, that can come out of this Final Four, and you'd be like, the rest of college basketball takes notice, much like UConn over the last couple of years with Dan Hurley, and I think that would be Florida and Todd Golden. You know, Auburn's such an old team. Bruce Pearl's been doing it for years. Kelvin Sampson's always been knocking at the door. You know, he's gotten to a Final Four, but, you know, this is the first time, you know, maybe he's got an opportunity to win a national championship. And Duke is Duke with John Shire. But do you guys not agree? If Todd Golden wins a national championship in year 3 at his age, I mean, to me, that puts the rest of college basketball on alert.
Yeah, I would agree. He's not going anywhere in all likelihood.
And he's got that pipeline built now where Australian player has come and had success. And there apparently is great basketball players who are athletic and big and can move down in Australia. But it's almost like the European influence.
I will tell you, though, if you've got a Todd Golden-like coach, I think Alabama's got one in Nate Oates. Trying to think of schools that have got other good young coaches.
John Shire.
Well, he was the example I was going to use. So you've got a good young coach. You want John Shire to be successful because there are very few programs you would leave in Alabama or Florida, whoever gets the Tennessee job when Rick Barnes retires. But Duke is one of those programs.
Yeah, by the way, I think Dusty May is one of those guys at Michigan.
Okay, Dusty May at Michigan.
Yeah.
But any job in America you've got, if Duke comes open, you're going to take the Duke job, right? I mean, that is the number one job in America. I don't care who you're coaching. If the Duke AD calls and says, our job is open, you're going to jump there. When is that job not going to be great? So the better John Shire is at that job, if you've got one of these good young coaches.
But I think the only other job that can open up like that is North Carolina.
Yeah, and they've got one more year of Hubert Davis and an open bank book, and if he doesn't get it done, that job will be open.
Because, you know, to me, like the universally appealing jobs are Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina. I think Mark Pope probably overachieved this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys felt about that.
If I'm North Carolina and Hubert Davis does exit, I call Todd Golden and say, have you always wanted to be the North Carolina coach?
Yeah.
Tell me you have.
So here we go to football, college football, after Brownie tells us about our friends at ImageCraft getting ready for our countdown to college football, which I've been keeping up with. I just haven't brought it up. We're 143 days away.
Wow, we passed 150.
143 days away. 150 when I was on the road. 143 days away from week 0 of college football.
Crazy. So in less than 2 months, you're going to be able to do our Doug Layton.
I'm going to pay tribute to the great Doug Layton. I always enjoy doing that. ImageCraft wants you to print more, but they want you to spend less doing it. They specialize in low-cost printer and copier supplies. They carry all the major brands: HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. ImageCraft offers free same-day delivery on all your in-stock items in the Birmingham Metro, but if you're outside the Birmingham Metro, they ship free outside the area as well. Go in the store in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center on the Gadsden Highway. Mention the next round there. You'll save 10%. Online at imagecraft.net, you use code TNR10 to save 10%. ImageCraft, print more, spend less.
All right, so before we get to the start of the college football season, there is the big House ruling that has to happen, and the new format of how they're not going to be employees, but we're going to pay players, and all of the salary caps and shared revenues. And Kirby Smart, as spring football continues at Georgia, lays out a crazy scenario that we've heard is happening, but to hear a head coach lay it out for you here, this is insanity. Listen to Kirby Smart here.
Everybody's on pins and needles because we don't know exactly what's going to come out of this. What I do know is that we're going to continue to recruit people who love football, who are passionate about football, and that don't put money as the number one answer. Like, I've never met a really good player that's all they cared about. So, like, the 105 number, the NIL number, what's the cap number, what is this going to be? There's stuff going on right now, guys, in college football. I mean, there's people reaching out to have a Zoom call and present all the players they represent that are on teams, including our teams. And they want to invite people to the Zoom so they can watch and see who's going in the portal or shopping who's in the portal before the portal. Do you want to get on the Zoom and look at all these players? I'm like, well, what if some of them are mine? I mean, it could be one of the most legendary, moments in all of college sports with what's coming up on this ruling and how people are going to try to manipulate a cap when all we're trying to do is make for competitive balance. And it's really unfortunate that I don't know if competitive balance is going to come out of it. You know, like I don't know if the kids win in this model that we currently have, if they win long term. Like long term, when we have to cut sports and cut other things, are the kids going to be the winners of this? I don't know. College sports been around a long time and given many an opportunity. And by all means, I want these kids to make money. But what's going on right now is not good for anybody.
He's right. I mean, ironically, you know, we start paying players, and one of the reasons is where everything's above board. But now with this new ruling, all it's going to do is bring the bag man back in.
So he's basically saying right there, though, that we as coaches get invited by agents to Zoom calls.
I'm Jim Dunaway of, we won't say a
the
real
sports agency.
Yeah, we won't say a real name.
Yeah.
We'll just call it Such Sports.
Such Sport. Okay.
Just the name of my group.
You get bad deals, they're going to start calling you that guy from Suck Sports.
Yes.
And I send everybody a Zoom link.
Here's all the guys I represent that are going to be in the portal.
Yeah, and no, you jump on the Zoom, and I was like, okay, here's a 6'1" corner. It's Dave Johnson from Northwestern.
Dave Johnson. Wait a minute, I'm the Northwestern coach, and Dave hasn't told me he's in the portal yet.
I'm glad you joined the Zoom. Maybe you'll be interested in 6 foot from Florida State, coach. And you're just running
so
through
Kirby's saying that agents are doing these Zooms showing off the players that are going to be in the portal, and some of them are their players.
Some of them are my players.
I haven't been told you're going to the portal yet.
Well, and he is right. Like, you know, money – I think money starts to corrupt athletes the older they get in their career, when they start looking maybe for that last contract. And you've seen guys that sign huge deals, and it seems like they get lazy, and they're not playing as well as they played at one point. Unfortunately, the guys that are going for the money right now, the 19, 20-year-olds, it's the dad, it's the uncle, it's the other guys that are actually demanding this.
It is the agent who now gets a percentage of whatever you get. Those are the guys that only care about money. And it goes on in basketball, too. It's just we've always known basketball has been this way. You've had freedom of movement in basketball for years. You've been able to bounce from school to school to school and not have to sit out. I don't know why they were able to do it, and football hasn't been able to do it. But now it's in football terms, and you can move school to school. So every year, like it will not surprise anybody, right, if not a single meaningful player on Alabama's team is back next year. I mean,
I would be surprised by that.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just it changes.
I mean, it's not earth-shattering. It would surprise me, though. That
because Nate Oates has been really good at the portal of going to pull people out of the portal and that roster he rebuilt.
But Diabate, people are going to be going after him. If Phylon decides to come back, everyone's going to be after that guy. Sherrell is going to be a guy that. So
Holloway has to tell people no if he's going to stay at Alabama because his stock's up higher than it was last year.
No doubt. Right? I mean, I think Holloway goes back to almost the stock he had coming into Auburn.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody there is getting a big offer from somewhere. So either you got to pay them, give them a raise, or you're going to lose them. So I'm just saying that it doesn't surprise you in basketball. Well, that's where we are in football now. So everybody, like you had to pay Ryan Williams to keep him at Alabama, right? Because how many people were knocking on his door, or how many Zooms was he popping on? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the price goes up.
And the problem is the market always changes. Like you could bring a guy in like Ryan Williams, and you could be like, we're going to give you this to sign with us. And if you hit these incentives, we're going to give you this. We want to make sure you're comfortable, you're locked in for a couple of years here. Well, the problem is the market changes so much.
Yeah. My second-year price that you're giving me, I can get double that now if I leave your school.
And you've got random schools that pop up like a Texas Tech, and who knows what Texas Tech might offer for a quarterback. They literally might offer $6 million a year for a quarterback.
That's right. And trust me, like Mo Diabate, I bet you a place like St. John's would value getting him more than you have in your head that you're going to pay him to stay at Alabama in basketball. In football terms, you know, you've got a price for your running back. Well, Michigan has to have a running back. So you are going to pay this running back this much. Michigan says, dude, I'll double that if you come up here.
But part of the issue is the profession that perfected what you're talking about is college coaching. I've got a job at Northwestern. I am looking for the first train out of here, one good season, and I'm gone.
But there is something on the backside that does protect a lot of schools.
You're absolutely right.
And that is the buyout.
They agree to that. And that's, again, I think that ought to be part of the player agreement.
It's got to be.
I've said that from day one.
And it's got to be multi-year contracts.
That when we put players under contract, if a player wants to leave, the school has to get something back for it. And that's what, Kirby's talking about the competitive balance, Jim. So go back to the 6'1 Northwestern DB. Northwestern's not – if that kid's he was a two-star coming out of high school, he's just flourished overnight, all of a sudden he's an NFL prospect. And Alabama wants him, and Texas wants him, and Kirby wants him, and Georgia, and Ohio State wants him. Northwestern's not keeping the kid. Okay, let's just get real about this. They're not keeping the kid. But if Northwestern got some sort of value for the kid if he left, all of a sudden it helps your competitive balance because Northwestern can take that $2 million and say, all right, let's go find a kid that could potentially replace him, or I've got 3 other guys that I want to split this up. So there are ways in this you can create competitive balance. I told somebody, though, that in college athletics. Did you have something on that? I'm sorry.
Well, I would just say, more rules, though, would also protect the roster you have. It would keep the cost down a little bit for the Alabamas and Georgias who are just feeding on each other. I'm going to leave Alabama to go to Georgia. I'm going to leave Georgia to go to Texas. Well, now, these are like programs in the same league. How can I keep costs down on my own roster?
Right.
Well, having more rules could help me there, too. And keeping the cost down is becoming a huge problem.
And one of the issues that we don't talk about a lot because we just don't see it in the day-to-day, and I was talking to somebody in college athletics not long ago. He's like, these agents that aren't NFLPA approved.
Right.
He said they come in and know they have to get their money right now because they can't represent these kids in the NFL because they can't get approved by the Players Association. And he said, when I see our players have an agent that's not NFLPA or doesn't work for a corporation that has a group that has agents that are NFLPA approved, he goes, I cringe. Because I know they've got to get their money right now. They're going to do everything they can to get that money today and tomorrow because they cannot represent the kid in the NFL.
Hey, 10 years ago, guys that played at a 4-year school, what do you think the percentages is that they played at more than one university or played for more than one university?
And
10 years ago.
And this was 10 years ago for
the
Power 5.
Yeah, this is all speculation on my part. I'm just seeing what you guys would think.
I would say 10 years ago for the Power 5 back then, the good conferences, not moving from lesser conferences to bigger conference, I'm going to say you had probably single-digit percentage players that changed.
That's what I was going to say, 90+% that you would retain.
Yeah.
And now would you not say it's flipped? It's 90%. Like Drew Pine just transferred again from Missouri.
Yeah.
And it's not a story, and it should be because he's played at Notre Dame, he's played at Arizona State, he's played at Missouri. He's going to be back for a 6th year, and he's going to be playing for a 4th school.
Yep. It's crazy. Michie Johnson that Jim just mentioned earlier has played now twice at Ohio State and South Carolina, twice at both schools.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Trey Donaldson in the portal from Michigan.
That's right.
I was, again, to the conversation we were having yesterday with Taylor and Forrester, I was like, you think any chance he would come back to Auburn? They don't think so, but never know.
You can't eliminate anything this day and age.
I will tell you, conversation I had yesterday, he left in good standing and still has good standing with that coaching staff.
Well, I thought he was better this year than he ever was at Auburn.
I'm just saying that I think he's attractive to SEC teams.
Yeah.
And Auburn's in the SEC. So the door isn't closed for him at Auburn or anywhere. These rosters you're having to rebuild, he's a guy that, he averaged 11-4. You don't turn away an 11-4 guy.
He's a pretty good player. Yeah. They're playing in major basketball at 11-4.
One more thing in this segment here being brought to you by our friends at the Golfist. Brownie, tell us about the Golfist.
It is a great place to go just to have fun, hang with the guys. You want to watch a game there, Major League Baseball or some of the tournament games. They've got the screens right there in the bays where you got the game on one screen, then you're playing on the simulator right there in front of you. It is Birmingham's best golf simulators at the Golfist, a fun social hangout with the buddies. 3 great locations: Vestavia, Trussville, and Highway 280 now open. Cahaba Park Circle right there. You can see all that I'm talking about at thegolfist.com, thegolfist.com. Also, you got an office meeting during the day. How about a little team building with it? Get out of the office, have a little fun, have your meeting, have some fun with team building at the Golfus. Get out of the office, go to the Golfus. Bring your own food, bring your own drinks, bring your own club so you can control what you eat, what you drink, and how you play right there. TheGolfus.com for all the information, or to book a bay, TheGolfus.com.
Ronaldo Lopez, shoulder, he's done for a year, pitcher for the Braves. Braves lose again last night. They're 0-6. They play the Dodgers again tonight, 7:38 on the Major League Baseball Network. I would tell you this. They have played a opening series against the Padres and the Dodgers, both on the road. The Padres are 7-0. The Dodgers are 6-0. They may be two of the best baseball teams, and that's who the Braves have played. Don't panic yet on the Braves.
Yeah, you knew the Dodgers are going to be good. Most people speculated the San Diego would be really good again this year. I think the more disturbing thing is the Braves are averaging just over a run a game.
Went 29 innings without a run.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the scary thing. Hard to believe the Dodgers are off to the best start for a champion since, what was it, the Yankees in
33.
Yeah, 1933. It's 7-0, which is kind of strange.
Yeah,
right?
kind of strange. That's the best start. It's 7-0.
I mean, but think about baseball, though. I mean, if you start the season 5-2, you're off to a great start, right?
Yeah,
so they're
5-2.
I know, but 7-0, that's their best start since moving from Brooklyn to Los Angeles as well.
By the way, I sent Scott a screenshot earlier today. I fleeced this off Twitter, and I failed to remember who I fleeced it from. So credit to someone on Twitter. This is not my original screenshot. This was the scoreboard in L.A., the Braves starting 9 last night.
The batting averages?
The batting averages on the right side. Like, I've never seen anything like that.
111 for those listening, 118, 154, 182, 118, 071 for Baldwin, the catcher, nothing for De La Cruz, 188 for Kellenic, and 154 for Arcia.
I'm being serious. I think you could go to any major conference in college baseball, obviously any team in Major League Baseball, any minor league team, and you would not see everybody below the Mendoza in your starting lineup.
I sent this to Ush, who co-hosts the Pennant Grace with Emily Grace with EG. I don't know why I went so formal with EG's name. And I was like, I bet you can't find a franchise in Major League Baseball with 9 guys batting under 200, and the Braves are starting 9 tonight.
Impossible.
I mean, it's impossible. I don't know how you could be this bad through 7 games.
Now imagine the ERAs for the guys who have played the torpedo bat Yankees. They're all 37.
Maddox and Glavine would have been in that starting lineup.
Yeah, they'd been batters.
Yeah, that's
they'd
what I'm
be
saying.
position players. All right, that's the Braves in action against the Dodgers tonight. Then they come home, and boy, they're ready to get home and open up the season over at Truist Park. When we come back, we'll do trash and one more NFL note to get to. The show being brought to you by our always fast friends at NASCAR. Tell us about NASCAR, Brownie.
Yeah, if you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you definitely need to go see the Jack Links 500 at the NASCAR Talladega Super Speedway. When NASCAR, it is the fastest track in NASCAR, 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. The Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway is April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Trash is next.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And in New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
You like it when I give you a little trivia every now and then?
I like trivia, Jim.
And we haven't played your 5-thing game, whatever, in a while.
Oh, yeah, the blind.
I had one for today. I didn't get to it.
The blind ranking tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Now, have you fact-checked your trivia? That's the only thing that scares me sometimes.
It is from Saturday Down South. So
they never miss.
Connor's good at this.
Trust them. Saturday Down South trivia, 23 Big 12 championship games, 8 in football. 18 of them, of the 23, won by Oklahoma, Texas, Texas A&M, and Nebraska. They're all at other conferences now. So the other Big 12 championship games were won by 4 other schools. Who won those?
Kansas State.
Kansas State is correct.
Baylor is correct. This year we had in, oh my God.
Yeah.
Am I escaping this? Iowa State lost to the team that
SMU, not SMU.
Arizona State.
Arizona State, yeah.
And the obvious answer would be TCU, but they didn't win it the year they went to the playoffs.
They did not. You've cracked a code.
That's
TCU
right.
is not one of these.
I know, but I can't remember who won it
They played for a
year.
national championship.
They did, but did not win their conference championship.
Never won the Big 12 championship game.
Baylor won that one, though.
Oh, I know what it was. It was Colorado in 2016.
Colorado, who's back in the Big 12, left and come back, and they are the missing link. People would have tripped up on TCU, who played for a national championship but didn't win a Big 12
I even tripped
championship.
myself up. Colorado won the Pac-12 in 2016, but my answer is still Colorado.
So there you go, Colorado. Those are the 4. That's your little trivia today, brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They bring you this hour all the time. Go see Sterling and the crew open for lunch today. Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119. The chicken's cooked to order, so it is delicious and piping hot and so much more at Champy's Chicken. And also our friend Dr. B, they make you look so much younger, better, stronger.
Keep going, Dunaway.
Sexier.
More adjectives.
Yeah.
Hey, our friend Dr. Beckstein, best in the business. Speaking from experience, when I started to thin out, when we started this platform 3.5 years ago, I asked around. Dr. B is the name everyone mentioned. Went to see Dr. B. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. 205-319-0316, T3hair.net for more information. T3's got that new test. So easy, painless, affordable. Takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they can use, knowing they will work for you. They'll custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical form. You get to pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims other products online don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and his great staff. Find out what will work for you. Again, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net.
All right. I don't know whether you like it or not. I like it. But my kids aren't little anymore, so I don't know how most Americans feel about this. And you guys know I'm not always the best Hallmark family guy in the world. But the NFL loved Christmas Day so much last year on a Wednesday. This year it's on a Thursday, and they're going to go triple header on Christmas Day. 12 noon, 3:30, 7:20, triple header on Christmas Day.
Now, keep in mind, one reason they had to go triple header is Amazon is guaranteed a game every Thursday from week 2, I think it is, to week 16 or whatever it is.
Yeah, and
so this is a Thursday, so they had to add, and Netflix has already paid for 2, so they had to add a third one for sure. You say everybody in the NFL is like, they'll never go back. They're going to do 3 and keep 3.
They will keep 3. I mean, they did it for Thanksgiving. You thought you would have the 2 traditional games that you had for decades and decades and decades. They went to a triple header. They're never going to go back. They love owning things. They're going to own Thanksgiving. Now they're going to own Christmas.
24 plus million streamers on both the Netflix games.
NBA hates this more than anyone.
Yeah, the NBA is the one that hates it. They used to own Christmas.
It was big ratings for them, and they dropped last year, and the NFL was a big hit. All 3 games will be streaming games, but it's going to be all day long on Christmas Day. You like it?
I do.
What if the Rams play?
I don't like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, now you got I don't know the percentages, but 6 of 32, you've got a better chance now of your team playing on Christmas Day.
I know. They've still never played on Thanksgiving. So
the Rams have never played a Thanksgiving game?
Well, they have, but it was back before I was a fan. It was like in the 70s.
Oh, okay. Since you've been a fan.
Yeah, since I've been a fan.
So I wonder if do they keep the LA, New York markets off Thanksgiving
I know
Day?
the Jets and Giants have both played on them.
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very strange. I would rather play on Thanksgiving than Christmas.
I'd rather play on Christmas than Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yep.
Well, Thanksgiving.
I'm just more like Thanksgiving's more. I like Thanksgiving more than Christmas, but I feel like I'm more focused on other things. Like Thanksgiving, part of Thanksgiving to me is football.
Christmas, I'm generally, though, stuck at home. Like Thanksgiving, there's times like every other Thanksgiving.
I would use the word stuck in different
okay.
way. I'm allowed to be
I'm
home.
allowed to be at home
Well,
with
you're
my
fortunate
loving
enough
family.
to be at Mentone.
That's it for me. I am at home,
And
so
you
I
get to
can
spend the
enjoy
night this year, right?
I can enjoy it all right there. So
You're right. Once the NBA finds something successful, they never go backwards. So they're probably not going to give up the 3 games, even if it's a Tuesday Christmas. I mean, they'll keep the 3 games, I guess.
That's the discussion. No matter what day it falls on, they will go triple header.
They were kind of forced to because of their contracts this year, because Amazon has that Thursday night game.
And I would, as a fan, much rather see my team play on Christmas than in another country.
Yeah,
which I
would
seen.
100% agree with you on that one. Yeah, if my choice were the London game or the Dolphins played in the
I would rather
the
you
Dolphins
double
are
me
playing
up.
in the Spain game this year. They played in the Germany game a couple of years ago. I'd far rather have a Christmas or Thanksgiving Day game than one of those national.
I would take both. I would take Thanksgiving and Christmas too, as opposed to the one.
But you mentioned it yesterday. You can only play 2 Thursday night games now, or 2 short week games.
2 short week games, which could on days factor in holidays, which is Thanksgiving, playing on a Thursday night normal week.
Yep.
Christmas is going to move around to a Wednesday, a Friday some days, a Monday some days. So,
but they generally don't give a team a Thursday night game coming off a Sunday bye. I don't think, because they try to make it equitable, right? I don't think one team.
Yes.
I think both teams are playing a
have
short
the same
week.
schedule. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's no way you can manipulate it by saying, well, we'll give Kansas City a bye so they can have 3 Thursday night games.
No. It's
so if you're in the season opener,
You can only play one more.
That's not a short week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's not a Thursday night. It's a short week Thursday night. Yeah.
They don't describe these by days.
Yeah,
it's by short
yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
Altered weeks. So you want to know who's playing?
On Christmas Day, we already know it?
No, we don't find out until May.
Oh, Kansas City.
On Christmas Day?
Oh, yeah. It's a streaming game. They were going to put Kansas City on these streaming games.
They
do
will
it all the
they
time.
will put, whether it's Dallas, Kansas City, they'll put one
it's
of the.
Kansas City. Taylor Swift and Kansas City. I promise you. I'll be stunned.
I'll go Diet Coke with you this year. It's not Kansas City. How about that?
I control the Diet Cokes. They're right here behind me.
Yeah, I'll go Diet Coke.
That you don't think they'll play one of the 3 streaming games on Christmas Day?
I don't think the Chiefs will be part of.
They did it last season. You know that, right? They played a Christmas Day game last season.
I do know that.
Well, that's why you probably don't want them to. Of course, Dallas and Detroit every year.
I mean, when they put their first ever playoff game on Peacock streaming, who was in the game?
It was Kansas City.
They manipulated the schedule so much that people died because of the cold weather in the stadium just to get Kansas City.
Well, they manipulated it so much they created a fake romance.
I don't know if it's fake or not, but I'm saying they manipulated that, Jim, so that Kansas City. I mean, people literally lost body parts.
I'm going.
Sitting
By
in
the
that
way,
game.
have we heard anything about the couple?
Diet Coke on no Christmas Day for the Chiefs.
I'll take you on that.
I am interested to see if Dallas and Detroit, those organizations, still embrace Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes. The Detroit fan base, absolutely. I talked to somebody, Michigan State fan, and I asked him about that when I was in Cleveland, first part of my two-city leg there, two-city tour. I asked him, I said, are you a Lions fan? Yes. I said, do you guys, what's the atmosphere like on Thanksgiving Day? He goes, it was insanity this year. Usually it's the most exciting game of the year. They embrace it. They love it.
I wonder when they do their meal, though. Do they do Thanksgiving dinner, I guess?
You'd
do
have
it
to.
after the game.
Because they always play at noon.
Yeah,
that game's too early to do lunch.
Yeah, always after the game. All right, it is trash time. It's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Tyler, the big button, please.
Do y'all usually start before 8 o'clock with a chainsaw?
I knew it was coming. Great street service.
Well, it's after 8 now. You guys started firing it up at 7:55.
That wasn't great.
No.
Just clearing it up.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
That's why you hire Grace. You hire Grace.
Exactly. Hey, it is spring buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham. Offer loans throughout the country. 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. We start first. Asheville police arrested and charged a man connected to an armed robbery with a machete that took place at an Asheville grocery store this past Monday, March 31st.
Again, machete is a much-used weapon in trash in our trash historically. Probably the most used weapon.
Yeah, I think I've told you guys that I bought one at a garage sale when I was a kid.
Yep.
How about them letting like a 9-10-year-old walk out with a rusty machete?
Did you have to negotiate your price?
I think I did. I think I got it down to $3. Officers with the Asheville Police Department responded around 5:25 p.m. Monday to investigate the robbery. Upon arrival, a store employee told officers the man had stolen a cinnamon bun and incense.
I can't blame him for the cinnamon bun.
Hey, Central Casting, can I get crazy serial killer looking white guy? Now, you send somebody over for those parts?
When confronted,
I was thinking he could be in the Manson family.
The man displayed a machete before running away. According to police, officers quickly located the suspect, who matched the description, was eating a cinnamon bun. According to police, suspect identified as Jeffrey Bradburn, 33 years old, taken into custody, is charged with robbery with a dangerous weapon, shoplifting, possession of drug paraphernalia. He was booked into county detention under a $50,000 secured bond.
Have you spent much time in Asheville?
It's funny you bring this up because the funeral I was at, one of Julian's nephews lives in Asheville, and we were talking about the city, and he was talking about, he's a doctor up there, talking about how much he loves everything about it.
Asheville is first of all, it's a good food town. They got a lot of good restaurants. I've spent a lot more time there than you would think, oddly.
Maggie's.
Yeah, you got family up there, right? Or she does. Yeah, it's a beautiful town now. It's an eclectic town, too. A lot of art.
Which I love. Yeah.
A lot of pot smoke. I mean, you smell the old dead skunk on every street corner. But it's a cool town. I like Asheville.
Very few places you don't smell that smell.
You know where you smell a lot of? It's Washington, D.C. My 11-year-old now knows what pot smells like. She kept asking what was that smell. We finally just told her, well, that is marijuana.
It could be a skunk.
Could be. I don't think she was going to fall for a dead skunk in every street gutter, but...
by the way,
you walk the streets of D.C., you'll smell some pot.
By the way, from Team Hotel to my hotel in Newark, second leg of my journey.
Right.
4 dispensaries.
Oh, damn. Did you hit any up? You know what? I didn't get a text.
You caught yourself right there like, God, I forgot to text Lance till I bring it some.
Well, I don't know if it's legal to fly. I will tell you this
I fly with edibles every time I fly.
I've never seen this flying out of Las Vegas or anywhere else. I will just tell you that in New York City, at their airports, and in Newark, they literally have, and Chicago. I remember it now in Chicago. They've got I was just in New York once.
You took too many.
They've got places before you board that look like old school mailboxes, and it's places where and it's got a police sign and everything.
Mail it to yourself?
No, to drop it off before you go through security or before you get on the plane.
Well, who takes it on the carry-on? Well, don't you check it?
Well, let me hypothetically say. Let's just say that you were
the
getting
WNBA player that did it.
Oh, it's Brittany Griner. She did it in Russia, though. That was just stupid.
Yeah, you don't want to do it in another country. Yeah. But let's just say you were getting on a plane and you had a carry-on bag and you had some snacks, and part of the snacks were like gummies, like Swedish Fish, but they were all different shapes and stuff.
Yeah.
Or if you had an anxiety gummy that you were using, how do you monitor that?
I don't know, man.
But
yeah. So anyway, you did not text me.
I did not text you, nor did I bring any home.
Meanwhile, Volfan205 says Jim's going to work this NCAA trip like he was the Rolling Stones doing a 100-city tour.
Yeah.
Right. I was on the road 2 weeks, guys.
I thought I had a picture of the mailbox-like thing with signage. If I could find it, I would read it to you. I'll tell you tomorrow if I have it in my deleted photos.
I bet that was used less than those massage pods at the airport. This might be a first. Couple was caught having sex atop a gravesite in an historic Florida cemetery. Look at these two.
Wow.
Now, according to police, reportedly found a little meth, a little Xanax, a little oxycodone in the vehicle used by the duo. Now, as detailed in the Florida Highway Patrol report, officers on Wednesday afternoon spotted a white Nissan parked in front of the locked Wild Cow Prairie Cemetery with, quote, the windows down, no one in the immediate area. The cemetery has several dozen marked and unmarked graves dating back to 1850. Now, in 2021, cemetery was added to the National Register of Historic Places. Now, at the rear of the cemetery, investigators observed a white male and female engaged in sexual activity on top of an unknown grave number 43. Cops identified the alleged grave. They called them bobbers. You get that? Grave bobbers.
Yes, not robbers.
Joseph Brown, right there, 38 on the left, and Stephanie Wegman, 46. Both suspects live in separate residences. Here's where it gets interesting. Subsequent search of the Nissan, which is registered to Wegman and her husband, who, by the way, is not Brown, discovered meth on the passenger seat. Inside Wegman's purse, 2 prescription bottles with the labels missing that contained Xanax and oxycodone.
Did they know the person they were having sex on the gravesite?
Well, it says an unknown gravesite.
Oh, yeah. Unknown. Okay. Yeah.
But we do know that she was having sex basically outside, probably inside of the Nissan, too, that was owned by her husband. That is not this dude.
Yeah, another guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say, well, first of all, she got locked up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Once she gets out, there's probably going to be some papers awaiting her, wouldn't you think?
Oh, yeah. What's that sweet tattoo she's got?
I was going to ask Tyler if he could zoom in anymore to see.
Does it say Maggie?
We're going to lose it there. I think it's a
name that ends in IE.
Yeah.
Angie.
Angie is what it looks like.
Mangy?
Mangy?
Mangy, yeah.
She is mangy.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you spell mangy with an IE, but
Jamie,
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, Jamie may be it. Yeah.
It looks like that's a J over there,
Yeah,
but it
kinda.
could just be the
she
angle.
looks a little pissy, right?
Yeah, she could be upset.
They took her drugs.
I mean, he's kind of smiling.
He looks happy.
I'm with Tyler. He's not upset about this.
He looks like a Mr. Clean that might drop a duffel bag somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Mr. Clean you can't trust.
Yeah.
Mr. Clean that doesn't really get it that clean.
So we go from that to the California woman with the world's longest tongue, 3.8 inches, by the way. She showed off some of the tricks she can perform with her massive mouth muscle, including removing Jenga blocks.
Oh, my, that is a tongue. Holy.
Beth, I hear you calling.
Now, her name is Chanel Tapper. 34 years old, held the Guinness World Record for the longest tongue for a female since 2010. Her tongue measures 3.8 inches from the tip to her lips. She gets an array of reactions, as you can imagine. She went on to say, quote, honestly, the best reaction I could ever get when someone sees my tongue is screaming. I actually do like when people yell or scream in shock or horror sometimes.
That's exactly what I did.
That's probably my favorite one because it's funny to me because it's a dramatic response. Now, Tapper showed off some of the tricks, including the Jenga blocks, flipping plastic cups, and holding a spoon.
So she's done a lot of work with this tongue.
I mean, it is very Gene Simmons-like.
I could imagine if desired, you could get a tongue reduction.
I would think you could.
I mean, surely
you could cut off like an inch and a half on the end and round it out a little bit.
Yeah, round it out. Now, it's going to require stitches. You probably can't eat solid foods for a little while. That's a dead hit.
I am going to say the problem there is going to be your speech. You probably would have to completely relearn everything you're doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to risk that.
Yeah, that's a lot of tongue.
That is a lot of tongue. I mean, is that a deal breaker? I mean, I know some would go the other way, but if you're, let's say you match on Hinge, you meet, and you're just talking about random things. Hey, by the way, I hold a world Guinness record. What would that be?
Yeah, maybe she features it on Hinge, though. You know, she might have that photo. It may be from Hinge right there. And if you're a Jenga player, you're like, well, then I'm going to be her.
I mean, that could be a poll question. Would that help or hurt the profile?
Wouldn't help mine.
Tyler, you're the young single man.
Yeah.
Help or hurt?
I don't. It's just so distracting. I would
agree.
say it would hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what might be a benefit, there are probably downsides too.
Would you rather have multiple facial tats that are kind of weird, kind of out there, or that tongue?
Teardrops, 3 teardrops.
Tongue.
Yeah.
I think I got to go tongue there.
Finally here on Trash, it's been more than a quarter century since Tom DeLonge sang of the government cover-up on aliens exist, and 8 years since the Blink-182 co-founders company was instrumental in helping bring about the UAP, which again, the acronym for UAP is?
Unidentified Aerial Phenomena.
Oh.
Now, still, questions far outweigh answers when it comes to the topic, which was deemed a, quote, potential national security threat during a public hearing back in 2022. Recent study done by Jega Calculator sees the folks behind the mathematical modeling service attempting to move the topic forward by determining which areas of the U.S. would fare best in the event of a full-fledged alien invasion. Not a dabble from the aliens.
That's right, full-fledged.
Full-fledged.
So this is who would fight the aliens the best, basically.
Yeah, the score out of the possible total of 10 is based on a number of influencing factors ranging from past alleged sightings to population density per square mile. Factors like forestry, bodies of water, and the share of figures who might be useful in the case of an ET attack, such as scientists and military forces, are also taken into consideration. Here are the top 10 states with the best alien survival score. Just because we originate out of Alabama, do you think Alabama is on the top 10 list?
Yeah, I think they trust what would be considered by people outside of Alabama, the backwoods rednecks, to defend us. I would never insult anyone by calling them backwoods redneck. They're good Alabamians.
Armed to the teeth, though.
Yeah. We got our guns. We trust the Second Amendment.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, is our guns going to be able to... I'm going to say on the list, Alabama in the top 10.
Yes, I'm going yes.
I'm going to say Texas is on there just from reputation. I'm going to say also for military strength that we're going to put, I think we'll put Nevada on there. Go ahead.
SEC
Nevada.
states, just real quick on the count. 1, 2... There's only 3 SEC states.
It does not mean more when it comes to the aliens.
And number 10 on the list, Georgia.
That's right.
They got a 7.4. Alaska, a little higher, almost a 7.5. North Carolina.
Why do you think Alaska?
Number 8.
The aliens don't like the cold.
Well, and I do think when you look at the layout, like...
That's a big state.
Are the extraterrestrials going to know... Like, to me, Alaska would have the nooks and crannies.
Well, there's a lot of places they would land in Alaska, and they're like, there's no people here. Let's go elsewhere.
Well, that's a home field advantage, too, just because you know certain things.
Or if they land in the winter, there's some parts of Alaska that don't see sunlight.
That's right.
Long
It's dark.
periods
We
of time.
can't tell
so
if anybody's
they'll
here.
land there and be like, well, nobody could live here. There's no sun.
I know it was Antarctica, but the thing did pretty well.
Yeah.
That's true.
I would tell you, though, it'd be very much like Coyote and Roadrunner. They would land, and then they would slide in the ice into the ocean. And we'd be like,
Number 7 on the list, Wisconsin. That kind of came out of nowhere.
I don't know.
Florida
Get them drunk on
is
the beer.
number 6 on the list.
Florida man is in trash a lot. Florida man versus alien is a heck of a battle.
Yeah, I mean, he's always methed up. He's not going to be scared.
Methed up with a machete most of the time.
Number 5 is Minnesota. Kind of a surprise there. New York is number 4 on the list.
Yeah, a lot of rude people up there.
That one surprised me because every alien movie, like
You're
the
right.
aliens
They start
attack
there.
New York.
Yeah,
they start there.
That's their first stop is New York
And
City.
they blow the entire thing up, and everybody's running and screaming.
But you end up winning in the end, though.
Yeah, but once they get outside of New York, once they dominate, and New York's nothing but ruins. Like, I mean, the gun laws are so strict in New York City.
Oh yeah, you can't take one in the city.
Yeah.
Number 3 on the list, Massachusetts. Another surprise to me.
Come on.
I mean, they're going back to the Boston Tea Party on
really,
this.
my
I think.
gosh.
Number 2.
Alabama.
Alabama
That's
rings
right.
the bell.
We're going to beat those aliens.
And then
we're going to play Rammer Jammer to let them
Number
know.
1 on the list, a little surprising. I'm with you. I thought Texas would be right up there. Texas didn't make the top 10.
What's number
Virginia
1?
is number 1.
I don't buy that.
Well, I mean, don't we have a big naval base in Virginia?
Yeah, we got a lot of naval bases, yeah. But yes, we do.
Our ships against their ships.
Yeah.
I guess you've got the FBI headquarters there, too.
FBI, well, CIA in Langley. Yeah.
And that is Trash Today, brought to you by
Our friends at Mortgage Right, 205-900-7200 or mortgagerite.com.
NASCAR is coming back to the Talladega Super Speedway. You let those aliens land at the infield at the Jack Links 500 and see what happens to them.
They'll never go home.
They don't make it. They would be like, boys, we have found the promised land.
This is so much fun.
That would be treacherous.
That's right. Talladega Super Speedway, 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Do not miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at the Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
I spin the wheel, and what happens?
I am not going back. Can you see the ship taking off and the aliens just waving at them from the infield?
And Dunaway's one of those aliens that you would go into space, right?
Well, I mean,
I'm
against probing, but if it's good for humanity.
You would rather be outside of the house than in it, right? Because I just always wonder, who's the alien that draws the short straw and you got to leave your planet?
I'm just saying that I suffer so much from FOMO. I'd be like, if other people are going on the flying saucer, I'd be like, why can't I go? All right, Auburn's Tiger Walk, reverse Tiger Walk underway. The Tigers are leaving on their way to San Antonio. So is Little T. She'll anchor our coverage from San Antonio starting tomorrow on all of our platforms. Set your alerts at Next Round Live. New Bama and Bourbon is out. Aaron Suttle's talking about the portal for the Tide and Alabama spring football. We'll talk more spring football on the show tomorrow. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.